Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, we are the Melanated Council, as it says right there. We usually stream at around 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time over in the US. And if you're watching not in the US, then and if you see us live, then that's when we stream. And as always, please like, subscribe, and enjoy the show. As you all know, this month our topic is like cuffing season because it's October. It's getting chilly in most of the northern hemisphere. Not here in South Florida, really. It's like in the 80s. But yeah, so it's getting cooler. People are trying to, date, have somebody to take home for the holidays so they don't have to interact with their annoying family members, and their aunts and uncles aren't going to be getting all nosy into their dating life. It's like, hey, see, I'm dating someone, there you go. So tonight's topic is about the laws of attraction. So tonight we're probably going to be talking about like the different forms of attraction, and yeah, like things like that. So as always, we usually like to just kind of, get started on a more less serious note, talking about our week or weekends or what have you. So, oh, actually, before I get started, I do want to introduce, the final person of our trio. You might be able to guess, if you're using, if you're like, what's it called? Like with like the when multiple choice, you're trying to like cross out some of the answers, like, oh, it can't be that, it can't be that, it can't be that. So, deduction. Okay. Yeah. So if if you want to guess, yes, elimination. It's elimination. So if you're eliminating, you see L here, you see Ron there. So if you want to guess who the final person is, it's not Barney, it's not Santa Claus, but very close. It is Toby.
Hey,
Hey.
Yay! Mm.
because
Mm.
I'm such a mythical being.
Yes.
For the um, oops, ignore
And
that. That
right.
was supposed to happen. Yeah, how's it going, y'all?
It is going fantastically.
Fantastically great.
Law of elimination deduction.
Oh, you know what? I actually expected your name to be something else, L, but it's okay to get emotional. That works well.
Yeah. What did you think my name was going to be? Because I was actually having trouble coming up with one.
The L of attraction was like my immediate guess. I've been thinking of that for days. Like she's gonna say L of attraction.
I was about to. I was thinking of the L of attraction. But I was like, I don't know. It's like, is attraction like an L? I mean, it can give you L's depending on, like who you're attracted to and why you're
Mm.
attracted to them.
I'm dead.
And I was like, I don't know. I felt like that was, just like the L of attraction was like a little too easy.
Too easy. Yeah, that's fair.
But
I
uh,
didn't come up literally with something beforehand, so I had to like literally just like I had the seat of my pants figure something out. I'm probably gonna change it honestly, but I was like, I do drive a Chevy Trax. That's my current rental. So traction. I was like, okay.
love Chevy attraction. Is it are you attracting anyone with that Chevy?
I mean, listen, I'm perpetually in the negative, so I wouldn't know. But um, wait a second. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think someone
This is
might
good.
have accidentally.
I'm playing around.
Oh,
Oh,
okay, okay.
okay, that's chill. I was like, wait a second, what happened? I was like, I am not on my phone, I promise.
Yeah.
Um,
Now
Okay.
Ron is
I'm gonna,
okay.
who came in? Still guessing you came in first, L.
Um, I was like backstage first, but then Ron actually like went like front stage first.
Oh, okay, that's
'Cause
nice.
I was trying to figure out like a name.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's why I was like, oh crap, like I can't be back here all day, like not getting the name.
Oh,
I wasn't in the backstage that long, but I was like, or not the backstage. I wasn't in the pre-backstage that long, but it was like a minute. I was like, oh yeah, let me just enter before it becomes too long.
Right, exactly.
mhm.
Yeah, but it's great to be here. It's great to be
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Well, we were about to start just like, talking about our weekend, what we've been up to lately.
Mm.
And well, it looks like Ron left. Well, he's BRBing.
BRBN.
Yeah. But how he's back.
Like literally BRB. Okay.
Right, yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
kind of like but
I had to yell at my phone like a teacher, but go for it.
yeah.
But
Yeah. So Toby, do you want to talk about your weekend,
yeah.
what you've been up to lately? Car troubles?
Oh, god,
Oh,
car
no,
trouble. I
no,
mean,
no. It could be anything. It could be anything.
I'll get into the car stuff, but I'll first start with how things went because these weekends always go by so quickly. I gave myself a long weekend, but it still feels like it was very quick. Like I just preemptively, not really even preemptively, it was late on Sunday night. I just went. Thankfully, I had my work phone on me. Went to my like time card. Not even not the time card. I went into Teams or my calendar. It was Outlook and marked myself as out of office for the whole day because I just wasn't doing it Monday.
Right.
We don't get Columbus Day, Indigenous Peoples Day off, even though we are a federal contractor. So you think we should probably get off federal holidays, but we don't get Columbus Day. We don't get President's Day. So after MLK Day, we have like a holiday drought where we don't get any holiday until Memorial Day. Thankfully, we are not in the drought. We're actually in the period of, relative abundance of holidays. We don't get Columbus, but we did have Labor Day, and we do get Veterans Day, which is nice. Like, 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, just to have a day off. But the point is, I gave myself Monday off. I ended up sleeping because my sleep schedule has been really trash and really messed up. And I was out late Sunday. I got to catch up with some good friends who I hadn't seen. One I hadn't seen in months, like probably since before the summer. Maybe once in the summer, but like she was a good friend that I met last year, like end of the summer, and we talked a lot. But then, just life and stuff, different places a bit. Physically, I also moved, so we don't live close to each other anymore. And she had been out of the country because she's Dominican, so she was in the DR for like a month since like around Labor Day, and she just got back, like literally just got back, and I got to see her Sunday. So I was like, oh my god, but it was late, so even though we did hang out and we talked, it was a little like we got to really catch up more later. But then there was other friends too who I hung out with, and some of them knew each other. And I'm like, I didn't even know you guys knew each other like this. So Sunday it was just like a cool day to like go out, have fun. I went to a concert like very last minute. This artist who I actually don't really know very well, and if you told me his name, I wouldn't have really known who he was. But he's done collaborations with other artists. The artist's name is Keen Promise. He's a Ghanaian, so he's from Ghana.
Okay.
I don't know a lot of artists from Ghana. Like I know some popular ones, but some I don't really know. But it was cool. It was in Cambridge, so I had to do some back and forth driving because I went north, like towards New Hampshire in Lowell to pick up food. Went to where I live, which is like 25 minutes away. Then continued down towards Boston because it's like the same straight highway. That was like another 25, 30 minutes to Cambridge, I should say, for the concert. Then went back up to I didn't go home. I just went straight up back to Lowell, which is 35-ish minutes from Cambridge. So it was like a lot of back and forth that Sunday night, but it was fun. So concert, then hanging out with my Lowell people. It was Ugandan Independence Day. That's why I went back to Lowell, because I wanted to celebrate. And it's Columbus Day weekend, so a lot of people typically go out on Sunday night. So it kind of worked out to go out because Lowell has a lot of Africans, and that's the town I moved from, and so I knew there was going to be stuff happening. And then afterwards, it's just a lot of us catching up and hanging out. And then yesterday, I saw Jack Harlow and the City Girls. Well, I missed most of the City Girls performance, but I was out. Jack, City Girls, and then I'm trying to remember what else happened last week. I didn't go to any concerts Friday and Saturday. I think Saturday I celebrated something. I went out to some event, but I couldn't tell you what it was. Right. Oh, yeah, I remember now. It was just like a kind of Caribbean African. It's something that happens every now and then. It's like these organizers do this party called Bashment. So I think Dance Hall Lounge is the name of the group. Or at least they have an event called Dance Hall Lounge. But Bashment, they do it at this one location that's pretty popular in Boston. Like it's not a huge place, but it's like if you know it, you know it. And then I stayed in most of the Saturday because I was just doing errands. Got a lot of stuff done with my Payflex like health savings account. I never really had that properly set up, so money just accumulates in your health savings account, and I wasn't using it. And it's a high deductible health plan, so I'm basically paying most of my costs out of pocket. Like my insurance, my prescriptions are still pretty well covered. Nothing like the prices there aren't too crazy, but like if you're getting like urgent care or you're going to like a therapist appointment or like behavioral psychiatry, I mean, those costs, or even like, urgent care, like I said, the cost could be like 150, it could be like 120. And I'm like, yo, I've never paid anything like that before when you're like going to healthcare appointments. Like if physical under my plan is still covered, but like the high deductible health plan is no joke because you're basically paying everything out of pocket except like something crazy like emergency room. So, but the flip side is you get your health savings account that can cover the costs. Because my company is interesting, they didn't really tell us how to set that up and how to use your health savings account and get the online portal, get the card. It's been something I've been trying to figure out since April. Long story short, it only just finally got it set up for good some weeks ago. Then last weekend, not this past weekend, but the one before, I like got the online portal set up, I think. And then this weekend, I went in and was able to sort of request reimbursement for all my costs. Thankfully, all my claims through Aetna show up on the health savings account portal. So even back from 2020, different claims have shown up. So all I have to do is like, I thought I was going to have to provide receipts and that would be a nightmare. Thankfully, it's smart enough. I was actually very impressed to see like literally just a whole row, or I should say a column, like just row after row of every like healthcare expense, whether it's CVS that I've paid, or it's like an urgent care visit, or it's another visit. And so like with primary care, so I was very happy to see that. And you can go and pay yourself after linking your bank account. But I don't know how long that's going to take because I did that on Saturday and I still have no money and from that process. But I'm hoping that gets done because I really would love to see. And for the future, I could stop basically paying out of pocket for these expenses as long as I have money in the health savings account. So that Saturday was a very good day in that case. And I reached out to a lot of dealerships, including some back in Maryland where my family lives, just in case, I do the purchase remotely. I can have my family help with that process. And I can fly and maybe pick it up on a holiday or even earlier. So that was Saturday before I went out to the dance hall bashment party. And then Friday, I don't remember. Oh, I had a game night, or I went to a game night for a friend of mine who I hadn't seen literally since February 2020. A good friend of mine from undergrad who happens to go to grad school here. So in like Boston area. So we've been friends since like near the end of my college experience. And since moving here to Boston, I've known him here. He always had game nights, but we kind of fell out of touch. I think we talked once last year. He did some pretty cool stuff working in DC for like a year doing economics because that's what his PhD is in. So working for like the White House and stuff. It was pretty cool. Like way under. It's not like he was a direct advisor, but he still worked under one of those pretty important like academic economic councils. So I was like, all right, yo, that's really cool. So I got to catch up with him and just play some games on Friday. So overall it's been, and then Thursday, I went to some concert. I forgot the name, but when I remember, I'll post it in the chat because it was an R&B artist I'd never heard before. So it was a lot of stuff. It was a lot of it spontaneous, honestly, but I was really happy with the mix of productivity and some like spontaneous outings that I didn't expect to have.
Nice.
So yeah, whoever wants to take it away.
Oh, sounds like a really fun weekend. Oh, it looks like you were gonna say something. Ron.
Yeah, I was gonna I'm gonna let you go.
Okay.
I'm gonna let you go.
I mean, I feel like Ron and I will definitely say similar things, but so one of my friends from college got married. She had her wedding in like Detroit area, and yeah, and I went, and Ron here was my date.
Hey,
I was allowed to bring a +1, and I was like, yeah. So like Ron was able to make it, which was great.
yes.
And so Ron and I met in person for the first time after, we've been doing the stream for over 2 years now, like 2.5. And it was our first time meeting in person.
Hey.
Yeah. So like that was really cool. Also, it was just like super fun to catch up with like some of my old friends from college, some of whom I haven't seen in like years, and just, seeing them and, catching up and listening to like, what they've been doing. And like it was really cool because hey, Rocky.
Hey.
Hey, welcome.
West Coast reporting in early.
Yay. Yeah.
Good to see
But yeah, like it was, but the wedding was absolutely gorgeous. The venue was absolutely fucking jaw dropping. It was literally the first wedding I've been to where it made me actually want to have a traditional wedding. This was wedding number 7 for me. And it's like, hey, Chad. Right? Yeah. It was absolutely like just awesome to meet Ron, and he was a great date. He had an amazing suit outfit on.
Nice.
That everybody was impressed with. And like we color coordinated pretty well.
Yes.
Yeah. No, but it was a lot of fun. Like it was definitely needed. That because I was like, do I even want to go? But I was like, I'll get to meet Ron because I was like, what the hell is like in Detroit? Like, it was kind of because I don't think, and like I don't know this for certain, but I don't think it's not. I'm not a wedding crasher. That was my friend's wedding. I was invited.
Hold on. I got a story for that one. But yeah.
That's true. Ron does have a story, but yeah, no, like it was just great to catch up with people. Like everybody, was like, like complimenting on my looks because I've lost weight, and I've been working out since the last time they've seen me. So they were like, "Oh my goodness, you look so great!" Blah blah blah. Yes. And I love that compliment. I don't care if it makes me shallow. I don't give a flying fuck because I've worked hard on my looks. I got in Saturday and the wedding was Sunday and I left Monday, and I worked out Saturday at the hotel gym and I also worked out Sunday morning at the hotel gym. So yeah, I work hard for my body. Okay. I could have just not. I could have just, been like, whatever. But I was like, no. I was low key. Like I wore, because it was Michigan, so it was cold for me. So I wore like a long sleeve dress with like some tights underneath, and I haven't worn tights in probably like 20 years. Like I forgot that those were even a thing. and I wore like some like calf high boots, which I've owned for like, several years now, but it was just kind of, I was like, I just wanted to make sure I was warm. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Chad. Paintings are a show of everyone wants on in their life. Yeah, because they're pretty to look at. They're aesthetically pleasing. But yeah, no, I was
Too easy.
But like, I was afraid it was going to be really cold, and the venue itself was actually pretty warm. And granted, like drinking and dancing makes you like, hotter and all. But I was just sort of like, man, I didn't have to wear these tights. Like my legs and thighs are looking so amazing. I could have just gone without it. I was like, I wasn't like seriously upset, but a part of me was just like, man. But yeah, no, it was fantastic. And of course, once again, I was just like, Ron, thank you so much for, doing the drive and, coming out and being my date and being a gentleman, an absolute gentleman, an absolute, just amazing human being. So yeah, that was my weekend.
Awesome.
Whew. Okay. So
I wonder what Ron has to say about his weekend.
Gee. So, of course, had a football game. Of course, we lost. The team, and even then, the team literally fell apart. The team literally fell apart. That was the
New L who does.
Yeah. New L who did.
Right. So again, the football team fell apart, and like one of the kids, we talked afterwards. He said, Coach, he said, man, he was like, I don't know, this game felt weird. I'm like, yeah, it did. It was like the team literally fell apart. Like there was a lot of infighting going on, a lot of people not knowing what to do. It was just a really weird game. Like they were not playing like themselves. So I was like, you know what? It's like, listen, we'll just put this game behind us. Come back Monday, ready to work. Okay. So that was Saturday. Sunday. Oh boy, that drive to Detroit. Well, not necessarily Detroit, the city, but that outskirts of Detroit. Holy crap. It was something that I knew was going to end up happening, but at the same time, also knowing that the people out there, they tend to drive like maniacs like it is anyway. So like, man, listen, if I have to get to my date on time and be there on time, I'm going to have to drive like a maniac. And so I ended up driving like a maniac and ended up missing my turn. So I had to go down, backtrack to come back. And even then, the turn I was supposed to get off on wasn't accessible. So I'm like, crap, how in the world am I able to do this? So looking at my GPS and I see this exit called 12 Mile Road. So like, okay, I see 12 Mile. And then I noticed that the spot where I'm supposed to meet L at was off of 12 Mile Road. I'm like, holy crap. If I can just get there, I'll be good. I'll be straight. So get off the exit and just pretty much just try to book it down to bruh. I'm not even.
I've heard some interesting things about the Raiders.
Yeah. Not even. So so make it like halfway to the rendezvous point. That's what I'm gonna call them. Make it to the rendezvous point. And I'm looking like, wait, if I could cut through here, that'd save me like 2 minutes. So we went made my little cut, made my turn, and immediately I saw the bus. So I was supposed to be getting on. Like, oh man, okay, there's the bus. I know it's 3:28, 3:29. Let me get on the bus, and I think I'll be safe. And I'll figure out to let Elle know, like, hey, I'm here. So get on the bus. Part of the Wedding Crasher. So Rocky, you weren't like wrong necessarily, but it wasn't Elle who was the party crasher. It was actually the Wedding Crasher. It was actually me. So I get on the bus, not knowing that there was a second bus coming. Didn't know it. And a lot of the people on the bus kind of looked at me all kind of weird and funny, like, hey, what are you doing on the bus? I'm like, hey, I'm going to this wedding, so let me be. And I find like the open seat, and even then, a lot of people compliment me on myself, like, hey, you look really nice. Like, well, thank you. So I sit down, I'm looking for like the Wi to get connected to the Wi-Fi. And this older lady, she turned around, she says, I don't want to be mean. She said, but are you part of the wedding? I'm like, no, I'm a date for somebody that's in the wedding-ish. And so kind of like, it almost seemed like as though like everybody's eyes is kind of like just turned around, like, okay, what's going on? And so I'm like, well, she's like, well, are you part of the family? I'm like, no, I'm just a day. I was told to be here at this point in time. I was there. I saw the bus. I didn't want to miss this bus. So I got on front of the first seat, and that's what I'm here. She's like, oh, because she's like, I didn't want to be mean or assume. She said, but this bus is pretty much for the wedding party and for the families and whatnot. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, I could get off. Like, is there another bus coming? And so one of the older ladies up front said, yeah, there is another bus coming, actually. Like, oh, really? She's like, yeah. So this bus is just for like wedding party only. She's like, yeah. Like, oh, okay, fine, cool, great, no big deal. And I still let my date know that I'm here. So us get to the lobby, and of course text Elle like, hey, I'm here, everything else, blah blah blah. And I'm pacing. Listen, the door was wide open. So, and plus, I was, listen. I was feeling myself, okay? I was feeling myself, sweaty palms and everything else. I was feeling myself. So, I'm not jumping out the window. No. Bought my happy butt off the bus like I did, how I got on there. So, waiting for Elle. I'm like, okay, like, in the back of my mind, like, okay, I gotta try to act as cool, calm, and collected because I'm a nervous wreck right now.
Oh,
and yes, nervous wreck from traveling, get on the wrong bus, making sure my outfit is looking good and great, and again meeting Elle for the first time. So I'm like a whole mess at this point, whole entire mess. So turn around and tuck and roll. I wish.
Tuck and roll.
I wish.
Let me to this. Oh my god. What's your reply to that?
Because this very same quote that you posted actually comes back full circle. I kid you not. It does. It comes back full circle. So
really? That'd be hilarious.
Yes. I turn around and I see Elle and she's beaming. I'm like, holy crap, it's Elle. And they're like, holy crap, she looks good. I'm like, wait a minute. She looks amazing in that dress. Mind you, we've been talking about this whole thing. And I'm like, wow, she looks absolutely gorgeous. Look amazing. Like, okay. So now like all nervousness goes out of my head and burns in the fireplace like right behind me. And I'm like, okay. I am meeting Elle for real. Meeting Elle in person, face to face. And it didn't hit me until like, I don't know. We got to the venue. I'm like, okay, meeting Elle. Like I'm here at this wonderful place, this beautiful venue with the lovely L. Like, who's able to save? Like, for real. So we walk into this venue. I meet her friends in college, and
It's like on the bus. Well, I've never met her in person.
so yes, digging on. Yeah, I'm digging. I don't care. I'm gonna dig my own grave. I'm gonna dig my own grave. Don't even care why, because I'm gonna go in there happy. So this venue, we signed the. What did we sign?
I forgot what it's called, but it's like a book of like almost like, you know, like in the back of a yearbook where you like sign like stuff. Like weddings have that where you like sign like, hey, congratulations. And then there was like these little wooden hearts that you put into like this thing. And so yeah, so we signed those things.
Yes. Yes. So as we're leaving, signing the hearts, well, Elle signed the hearts, and she helped me sign the book because my crazy tail was still like gathering myself together. I'm like, okay, I'm here now with Elle. So like again, I just can't fathom like I'm here with Elle. That's just get that out the window, okay? So we're walking to go find our seats, and the little first section was a family who I ran into on the bus. So again, Rocky, the little comment that you wrote, the face have led me to this very moment. All will be revealed in due time. Yes, it was revealed to them in due time because they looked at me and they saw Elle. Like, oh, okay. And so I'm like, yeah, I told them like, yeah, Elle, see that family over there? Yeah, that was the people who I ran into early on the first bus. Oh, really? Like, yeah. Get through the ceremony. The ceremony was beautiful. Like first Jewish ceremony, wedding ceremony I've been to in my life as of right now. It was amazing. Everything was just like beautiful. The venue was beautiful. So we leave, we get like appetizers coming at us left and right. You know, didn't find out that dinner wasn't until 9:30. Like, I don't care because I am going to eat this tiny pig in a blanket and I'm gonna have my field day. So me, Elle, and her friends, we all just sitting around, standing around, you know, talking. And so this older gentleman walks up.
Who do you know?
Hold on. About this comment right here. About this comment. So this older gentleman comes up. He says, "Hey, looking kind of." He's like, "You're looking kind of spiffy and cute. I like it. Thank you. Like, you know, I'm here with her, imagining her and everything. It's one to L. Like, oh, okay. So he's like, "So, can I ask a question?" We're all kind of looking like, "Yes." Like, I am on the list. I promise you. My name tag is somewhere on one of these tables. I'm supposed to be here. Mm-hmm. Do not. And so he was like, who was the person who gave this man the wrong time? Nobody said a word. We're just like, what are you talking about?
It was me.
And,
it was my fault. I'll take. So like I okay.
Oh, yeah, I'm drinking water today. So nobody really said anything. I'm like, listen, I was just told to show here at this appointed time at an appointed date, and that's what I did. So, sir, I'll take the blame. And so, yes, I took the L. I took the L for L. Yes. And so, so he was like, okay. And he's like, well, you know what? Doesn't matter. He said, because you look nice. I'm like, thank you, sir. Thank you. Mm-hmm. And so he leaves, and And so Elle was like, well, it was kind of my fault. Like Elle, it doesn't matter. Like we are here together on this day at this particular time because why? The fates have led us to be here at this very moment. All will be revealed in due time. Rocky, I'm taking that quote. I'm using it. Okay, just know that's what's going to use. So we're having a good time. We're having a blast. We're dancing. We're sweating. We're hot. We're thirsty. We're drinking. Me, no, I got this non-alcoholic mixture, which looked good, tasted really good. I'm like, yes, I'm in my zone. Until the band started playing music that we really couldn't necessarily dance to. So I'm like, where's the bass? Not the guitar, but like the actual bass, the doom, 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 doom. Like, I need that in. And so one of Elle's friends, like, yeah, need that too. I'm like, where's it at? So kind of looked at each other like, oh, whatever, we're gonna go sit down. So we sit down, ceremony goes on and everything else. And we get ready to go back out and dance again. And at this time, the second older lady who I talked to on the bus, she comes walking up and she's like, you look fine, you look fine.
Well, do you know who I am? Do you even know? Do you know who my father is?
Right. Like my father is Ronald McDonald. You better respect the name. Respect the name.
Yes, Chad, they did.
Yes.
Yes.
Did they do the chairlifting?
Yes. Was not a part of it. Looked on the outside. Was not. No.
Yeah.
They had enough big, strong, young, strapping young men who could lift that chair up. And I feel bad for the bride because she was hanging on to that chair and that fabric for dear life because it almost looked like had they hoisted her the wrong way, she was going to fall off. And wasn't nobody there to catch her. I'm like, man, I hope she doesn't fall off. Like, I hope she does not fall off. And I'm thinking in the back of her head, she's like, I hope I don't fall off because, man, that would not have been pretty. I would have been mad for her. I would have been mad.
Oh, yeah.
Bride was beautiful.
Yeah.
Bride was beautiful. Just beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so they did all of that and everything else. And so, like I said, the second older lady came up. She's like, I didn't want you to feel as though that you weren't welcome. Like, no, it's okay. Like, you don't have to apologize. Like, please don't apologize. Like, I'm here. I'm having a wonderful time. I'm having a blast. Like, I just love the atmosphere. I just love just being here. Like, I'm with my good friend who I am just now meeting for the first time. She looks lovely, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it's okay. Like, it was an honest mistake. It's okay. She's like, okay, I just don't want to make sure, you didn't feel some type of way. Like, no, like, if anything, I'm feeling everything but that. Like, that whole bus scenario is long gone and down the road somewhere because I'm having a good time with Elle and her friends and we're partying, we're living it up and blah, blah, blah. We're having an amazing time. Yeah. And I guess the band decided, like, hey, we're going to play all the good dancing songs towards the end because we have nothing else to play. And so I'm still, like, suited up, everything else, suit jacket on, tie on, button up. I just undid my button. I just undid my jacket. And we were just going, just sweat, just pouring down sweat. And Elle's friends are like, man, you're not going to take that thing off? Like, I would probably take this thing off when I get in my car. Like, because as of right now, no, I'm feeling myself. No, I'm not taking this thing off. No. Even when I got into my car, I didn't take my suit jacket off. I didn't take nothing off. I just left it all on. I'm like, forget it. I'm tired. I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to go to bed.
Oh,
so,
really? Wow. You committed.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Committed to the cause. Yeah. And so, and again, it was just a lovely time, a lovely event. Like, love meeting Elle. Like, Elle, again, beautiful, 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 beautiful. From inside out, dress, everything. Beautiful person.
Thank you.
Welcome. So, other than almost hitting a deer on the way home, which scared the living doodle out of me, huh, huh, driving on 94 at night, doing 75. Hey, fact, Rocky, fact.
Mm.
It's almost like Rocky. It almost feels as though that you know me, sir. You almost do, but then again, you don't. But at the same time, I'm gonna stick with the dude part because you're not wrong. You're not wrong, sir. Oh man, but yeah, it was a lovely time, and that was my weekend. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Great. That's actually pretty amazing.
I do want to.
So,
like, I know that. Like, thank you for taking the L about the time. Like, but I because I knew your like the drive was like over like 2 hours or so. I was like, okay, let me just tell him like 3:30 in case like if if he gets here at 4, it's fine. Because I didn't want to say exactly at 4:30, and like you never know what's gonna happen. So like that was my bad. And also, I didn't want to just. I wanted to like meet you, like have like one-on-one time, like before. Like, I didn't want to just be like, all right, you're here, great, thanks, nice to meet you. Let's get on this shuttle. Like, so.
no.
Like, so that was my bad. I should have been more specific as to like why. I was like, yeah, if you get here at 3:30, you'll be fine. But I guess I was also just like doing other things too. So,
like, you're good. You're good because it actually worked out because again, that traffic coming, especially coming to the area where you were at, that traffic was backed up and it was slow moving. And even by the time I got halfway to you, that's when the traffic was starting to kind of like getting uncongested and started moving the way how it was supposed to be. And it was like, okay, if I know 3:30, I'm gonna be there by 3:30. And even with the turnaround and everything else, I still end up managed to be there by 3:30. So it was a good call because it was a good call on your part because again, like I told you before, I've driven through Detroit so many times and that strip of 94 and everything coming off of 94, they're always doing construction. Always. I don't think I've been to Detroit where there wasn't any type of construction going on. They've always got something going on. Always. I mean, even going through Jackson, they still are doing a lot of the road, the highway there. So between Jackson up to Detroit, the roads were still being put together and this, that, and the third. So like I said, it worked out. It worked out because I still was able to get that one-on-one, like whoop whoop, yeah, and all that other good stuff, and just laugh, talk, and even then, just again, just meeting you for the first time, like for real. So yes, if I had to do it again, I'd do it again in a heartbeat. Yes, I would.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I guess it was, thank you for. It's gonna sound shallow, but I just literally said that I am shallow earlier. Complimenting my appearance because I was like, when I was coming down to come meet you, like I was like, oh shit, I gotta like start getting dressed. So because like, it's like I can't just be like in lounge wear because like I have to get ready for this wedding now and like okay, like Ron's coming, so I have to get ready like earlier. So I was like putting on I put on the dress. I was trying like a different like waist belt with it, and it's like it's not really working. And I was like, oh, okay, he's downstairs. And I already put on like some makeup. I never even ended up finishing it because like Ron and I just ended up just talking for the rest of the time. I was like, whatever. And I was like, but like, so like when I came down and like you saw me in my head, I'm like, I don't look like this every day. So this is a special occasion. But you're like, oh, like I saw it in your expression. And like it it was it was flattering. I was like, thanks. I don't look like this every day though.
Um, it didn't matter. And even then, to your point about the whole makeup thing, like I didn't even know that you had it on. Like until you said something about it, I'm like, oh, okay. Like blow my wig back. Like, sheesh, didn't even realize that. So I'm like, oh yeah,
Yeah, it wasn't
definitely.
much. It was just like I gotta do this. I have to do it scared. I don't like putting on makeup, but I was like, I gotta do it scared. I was like, like fucking Ron said that to me the other day, and it's like you're just using my own words against me.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. But yeah, no, it was once again just absolutely amazing seeing you in person. And it was just like, a great time.
Yes,
Yes.
Toby, you're next. You're on my to get list next.
True.
I'm
Exactly. It's
coming up to you.
L is the nexus because L. we've each met L. I mean, even Mish, right? Mish, I don't know if you're there in the background, but Mish has met L. I've met L. You've met L, Ron, but none of us have met each other unless you've met Mish. And I don't know Ron, but none of us. And then outside of this, then Gil. Well, I mean, you guys met already in the area, but still.
Right, yeah.
Mark lives in the area. But I think L just seems to be the only person who's actually met people.
Oh, Erica Rhodes.
Oh, yeah, you met Erica.
Yeah.
That's true. That's crazy. So L is the cool one that just has the push and the pull. She has the pull, really. You can't spell pull without L.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So, but next, yes, you and me, Ron, definitely. Lord knows I'm coming back to Michigan, but
don't worry. I got mileage through Delta. I'll come find you.
Sounds like a plan.
I got mileage through Delta. I'll come find you.
Bet. And then when I actually moved to Maryland for good, which is looking like that'll happen by May next year, I'm definitely gonna have to have people. I mean, people can visit here too. It's just I've been so transient. Like I'm in a place, and it doesn't always feel like my own because I'm not gonna be here next year, and I'd just be so busy and stuff. But I feel like once I move to Maryland, I'll like have a chance to. I mean, I probably won't have my own house because the housing market's wild, but I still kind of have my own place that I call my own, closer to home, closer to family.
Yeah.
So I'll make it happen.
Yeah, for sure.
There you go.
And
Cheers.
Black Girl Magic.
Hey.
The McBride sisters. I'd been meaning forever to, because I bought these way back in the year, like maybe January, February.
Okay.
I bought the red blend earlier, and then I bought the Riesling maybe like by February, March, and the rosé, but I hadn't actually drank them, and I was like, I need to drink the Black Girl Magic brand. So I finally got to open it, I think Friday. Oh yeah, the game night. But yeah, so cheers.
Cheers to Black Girl Magic.
Yes.
Rolling of the wine just for Chad.
You got to be a Chad for Chad. Next look at me, I was like, I don't know.
Listen.
Oh, well, never mind. I ain't gonna let. No, Toby, you won't have to deal with that one. You deal with that, Toby.
I'm just here, man. I'm just here for now.
Yeah, you just have to attract the right person.
And, yeah, but no, that's gonna be. But no, that's really great. Nice to hear it, from both of your perspectives.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Toby, do you want to start off this topic?
Should I start it off, or should you start it off?
Oh, you want me to start it off? Okay.
I mean, I have the laws of attraction. I could talk about it, but since you low key had the idea, at least for the name of it, I was wondering kind of how you wanted to,
Approach it.
yeah, how you wanted to
Okay.
approach it.
Okay. And as always, like we could, go off into different, tangents depending on however, like whatever comes to mind and however you feel when it comes to. It's just as Mr. I'm just vibing.
Yeah.
Whenever it comes to
Vibes.
attraction. I mean, I do want to talk about like the whole like vibes thing when it comes to dating and attraction, because there's a lot of guys on dating apps who would just be like just looking for someone to just vibe with, who has like good energy, but and it's like, what the fuck you mean? Anyway, so I shared an article earlier today on the different types of attraction in the Discord, and I've heard of like the different forms of attraction kind of honestly probably recently, probably within like the past year, maybe year and a half. But it sort of made sense because like I've always kind of noticed that there's different forms of attraction. Like you might have friends that you like more than other friends. Like there's some people like you just kind of have like a different kind of like draw to, and there might be people who you're attracted to their looks, but not you don't really want to have sex with them. And like there might be people who you might actually want to have sex with, but you're not really attracted to their looks. Like there's definitely just like been guys where they just have like some kind of I don't know, like it's vibe, or like there's just like some kind of thing about them that just like I don't know, they're just like sexually attractive. So this article by shape.com, I'll share it in the chat, talks about like it says like the 5 most common types of attraction. I've heard of like 7 different types, but these are like the 5 most common, I guess. So there's sexual attraction, romantic attraction, physical attraction, emotional attraction, and aesthetic attraction. So Pete Davidson energy, I guess so. I like honestly, I think so. I think like Pete Davidson must have some sort of sexual vibe for like the women that he pulls. Like Nick Cannon too. But like there's probably just like I don't know, like maybe it's just something that you have to experience around them that you kind of like feel it. So sexual attraction, is probably the one that's like easiest to recognize. You're like, according to articles, like being sexually attracted to someone, having the desire to be with them on a physical and like sexual attraction might not leave much to the imagination because it's just that. Okay, sorry, let me find something. Okay, so if someone inspires arousal, lust, or physiological excitement in you, this is sexual attraction. So like, like sometimes even like today I was at a coffee shop and there was just like this guy. He wasn't like he was cute. Like he wasn't like super hot or anything, but there was just something about him that was just like it's like I'd have sex with him. Like I wasn't like super aroused, but I'm gonna actually talk about like another time at the same coffee shop, funny enough, where like, I was just like seeing this guy and for whatever reason I was just like I just wanted to have sex with him because it was just a sexual attraction. Like he was physically like he was actually aesthetically attractive. How this person looks. That's what aesthetic attraction is. Aesthetic attraction is like appreciating how they look. It doesn't usually include the desire for sex, touch, intimacy, or romance as much as just like a focus on what they like. I guess so I had more so of a sexual attraction to this guy, but like an aesthetic attraction could just be like, like a good looking person on a billboard or something. Like, it's just purely about appearance. Like, you don't feel any sexual desire or, getting to know this person or, contacting this person. It's just like, this person looks good. This person is pleasing to the eye. Like I see that in women a lot. I'm not sexually or romantically attracted to women, but like if you see like a beautiful woman, it's like, oh, she's beautiful, then you just go on about your fucking day. Some secret backdoor to the island. I mean, it's as close as the island that it gets for me. Okay, that's why I go. Also, I just want to be around people that's like my age. Live in like the fucking suburbs. so yeah, like you might see someone who's just good looking. Like aesthetic attraction might be like, we might say like, that like this person's physically attractive, but physical attraction, according to this article, is more so about like touch, where it's like you can just enjoy sharing proximity, company, and contact with them. It's kind of like the physical touch love language. Like according to this article, like some people resonate with tactile stimuli independent of sex and romance, such as hugs, cuddles, holding hands, or massages. For example, you may enjoy cuddling with a friend but don't want to have sex with them. I briefly dated a guy who absolutely loved cuddling, and he would tell me that when he lived in New York, he would go to like cuddle parties. And his roommate, I think, was a professional cuddler, and he and his roommate, who was also a man, would just like cuddle sometimes, but he wasn't sexually attracted to men. He was just straight up, he just liked he just, I guess, had like a physical attraction. He just liked the physical touch. I come here for the. You think I can come? You think I come here for the coffee? Sure, because I don't really drink coffee, honestly. I prefer tea. I drink coffee on occasion. But yeah, like there's you might have had that where like there's people who you feel comfortable just kind of like probably just like touching or holding hands with, especially if it's like, I don't know, if you're watching a movie or TV show and like someone may like grab your hand or something, it could probably be like kind of something like that, but there's no like sexual or romantic attraction with that person, is like what I am assuming and gathering from this article. I didn't feel like they made a good argument for those distinct attractions. It felt more like gravities. My experience is more often mixed and border. Yeah, exactly. Like that's normal to have like both. But for example, like you might, I'm assuming, like you might find another man to like, like he's like, oh, that's a good looking guy, but you're not gonna, you're not gonna like try to talk to him or get to know him. It's just like you just recognize like, oh, this is just a good looking man. So that's kind of like what aesthetic attraction is. Of course, like all these mix together, or they can mix together, but like you might feel comfortable, with different people depending on like different things. Hey, like what you said, like it's like it felt more like gravities. Yeah. If I'm understanding correctly, like of course, like it's okay for like things to overlap, but this is just based on this article, and I've definitely I guess felt this way about people. I don't know if y'all have. Also, I didn't mention romantic attraction, which is romantic attraction is wanting to be involved intimately with another person or develop a relationship that focus on mutually beneficial connections and experiences. I kind of see that more as like the quality time sort of aspect of, like the love languages.
Yeah, I was thinking of the parallel of the love languages, to be honest.
Yeah. And there's also emotional attraction. It's like where emotional attraction is a shared experience of expressing and or receiving love, respect, support, and acceptance because of someone's mind and personality. It's like emotional attraction can exist separately, but may also contribute to other types of attraction. Oh, for example, a demisexual is a person who requires a deep emotional connection to develop a sexual or romantic relationship. You know, if you want to get into like the different forms of sexualities as well.
Sapiosexuals.
Yeah.
Or something.
I guess that's like sapiosexual things like being like sexually attracted to someone's mind, but I guess demisexual is like you really have to develop like a deep emotional connection with somebody. Like I'd assume like a sapiosexual would be like you could be like you're listening to a woman present a TED talk and like now you're sexually attracted to her. Whereas like a demisexual wouldn't because like they don't know them on a personal level.
Yeah. No, that definitely makes sense. It was just interesting when you were like the different types of attractions. I was like, oh yeah, there are these different terms that I kind of hear about, but I haven't looked deeply into. Like demisexual, I even forgot what that was, to be honest.
Yeah. No, like I think I was telling some friends about demisexuals the other day because I was like, you sound like a demisexual. And she was like, no, I'm not, blah, blah. And then she read the definition because I showed it to her and she was like, yeah, I think I might be. I was like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, you know, if you need like a deep emotional connection in order to, you know, start, you know, feeling like sexually aroused to a person, then, you know, that's just you. I can't know that someone is dumb and find them attractive. I don't think that counts though. I can't know that. I can't.
Dead. Oh,
you kind of have to when you're attracted to men.
I'm dead. No, that they're
kidding.
I'm dead.
But sorry, what were you saying, Toby?
No, I was clarifying that you're saying you have to kind of know that someone is dumb, like if you're attracted to, or no, their intelligence if you're attracted to them. I know you're making kind of a joke, but I just wasn't sure what the angle you were coming at it was.
Oh, okay. No, but like I can be. I mean, I guess it depends on like what kind of an attraction. Like I can find them like sexually attractive, and I'm like I don't really think they're, you know, the smartest cookie in the cookie jar. Shots fired at mankind.
All kinds of man.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, because like when I was probably like in college or sometime after college, I don't know. Like I remember I was talking to a friend about like, you know, it's like you like it was a guy friend, and I was like, it's like you've never found somebody like physically attractive, I guess more so like aesthetically attractive, but not sexually attractive, and he was like, no. Like that's like two different. Like he felt like it was like sort of the same thing, and I don't know if like society puts like pressure on men or I don't know. Like I could be totally wrong, but like just because you find a woman, like you know a woman who like looks really good to you, that doesn't necessarily mean you want to have sex with her. It's like just because you can. Doesn't mean like you are sexually attracted to her. I don't know if I'm making sense here.
Yeah, I think so. And yeah, I guess it depends too. Like you can find someone good looking. And like I think there was a point where I really was so far removed from any of this where I was like, I don't even know who is someone that you would quote unquote want to have sex with. And I was like, is it someone who's supposed to be like the same height as you, same build as you? I don't know. I was just like, oh. So it wasn't so much like I'm attracted to this person, but it's funny because I was going into college. So I mean, I was like 17. I just turned 17 in that March, and this was like June. We were doing a summer bridge program going into college, and like at one point, we weren't supposed to do this. We kind of got chewed out for doing this, but like the guys were like, "Yo, write down on a piece of paper what girls you want to have sex with, like the top 5." And we had like 75 of us in the program, about evenly split guys and girls. So imagine there's like 35 to 40-ish girls. And so I was thinking like, who would I want to have sex with? I don't know. Let me find people who I guess are maybe kind of my height, or people who I think, because I don't know, like I really didn't understand. And when I saw the top names, I was like, really, how would you have sex with this person? Like, they're like tiny, or like this guy is tiny. Like what? What's happening?
Here we go.
It was very innocent me thinking. I mean, I was 17, but I was like, so I hadn't even kissed a girl at that time. I'll be very honest. And so I was just like, I don't know, like I don't know what I'm supposed to be like looking for to find someone attractive. I mean, there are people who I could have said looked very pretty, but I was like, I don't think I could have sex with them. I don't know how that would work. And so yo, that's my favorite.
No.
Yo, I mean, like I was really like wondering like what's going on. In terms of like figuring out that that act. And so I mean now it's kind of like there's kind of some obvious features. I mean, some guys are into you have the boob versus butt debate. Good to see you, my mans. And I actually didn't even see the other comments. Rocky, I was a kid. In order to not sound gay, if you were commenting about the attractionist, of course. Oh, I'm dead. I thought you were gonna just say no homo or like, think we grew out of it. Oh, he gets. I'm done.
Oh, he gets bitches. That's funny. That is funny.
No, but like, I think like there's certain things that maybe you could look for. I mean, of course, you're like, oh, she got a big butt. Does whatever, is she curvy or? I mean, I don't know. Like, I still kind of think the height thing is interesting. I feel like I am attracted usually if you're taller, not like tall. I mean, you could be. Nothing wrong with stallions. But like, I feel like mid height, maybe like I would find it maybe a little difficult. I mean, you could be short, but like, I don't think I'm immediately attracted to someone who's like 5'4" and like really short. But if you're like a little bit taller, like you don't have to be tall, but compared to other girls, I don't know why, but like maybe I'm more likely to be attracted to you. And so like the question you kind of said, like where a guy might be like, this girl is pretty, they look good, but I don't know if I want to have sex with them. I feel like that was pretty common where it was like, yeah, I can recognize this person is really attractive, or they look good, and maybe you're at a formal event, but you don't necessarily know if you're gonna have sex with them. And that's kind of a hard thing to, I guess, think about, especially when my brain wasn't really wired that way in a lot of ways. And so I was kind of like, I don't know, what would I think about? I don't know, like I come a long way 10 years later, but chemistry, Toby, and not the science. I made a joke about physics yesterday. Oh, because when I saw City Girls, of course, there was a lot of twerking. And so it sounds like torque. And if you ever took a physics class, it's like a very kind of obvious joke. If you hear torque, you're going to say torque. And so when it's like, it's time for the torculator, of course, I'm like, torculator, what's that? I was like, I didn't know. I was like, I forgot what I said, but I made a post like, I thought the show was about physics, so I don't know why people are shaking their butts on stage. I was very confused.
Because they're trying to, get that torque.
They're trying to get that torque, but on the rotational, angular momentum, I'm pulling out some stuff from my physics class. But I was like, I'm very confused right now. But no.
But yeah, they say torque is a measure of the force that can cause an object to rotate about an axis. So that's essentially what torquing is.
That's perfect. That's perfect. I'm gonna run an experiment and get back to y'all. But in the meantime, it's a lot of physics in that concert.
Rotational force, exactly.
Oh yeah, you commented on it too when I posted the link yesterday. When I posted the thing yesterday. Sorry, I know I kind of like jumped in out, but I was just like, it's a very interesting thing. I hadn't thought of that so explicitly, where it's like you might think someone looks good, but you're not necessarily like, oh, I would hook up. Now, if you're in a certain state of mind, at that point, anything goes. And I mean, what was I saw an interview with Jack Harlow on Breakfast Club a few weeks ago, and they kept making this joke about any hole is the goal. It was like a running theme. And I mean, I don't know if any hole is the goal. I would be very careful about that. But sometimes if you're in that state of mind, then all of your standards are out the window, or all of your normal things, because you're just looking for anything. But like, if you kind of are more like intentional and you're like, I might want to bring this person back. But why are there certain people? I guess there might be red flags personality wise, or just like, I don't know. Like, I don't think this is a good idea. But if it's not like a personality thing, what is it about looks or physical like features that makes you think, well, this person looks good, but I wouldn't want to sleep with them, especially for a guy. Like for a girl, I feel like there's a lot more that you can be picky about. Um, and this is something that I remember we kind of talked about, like in terms of guys and girls. Girls seem to have more of their pick. Questionable, right? We kind of had some debate about that.
Mhm.
So girls can choose to be picky in a lot of ways, and guys, I mean, guys can be too, especially if you really are more smooth and you're more of a player and you kind of know how to like do the game. Then yeah, you can kind of maybe be a little more picky about and choose. But if you really don't have the pick, then what metric are you using to figure out like you wouldn't want to sleep with someone physically, just from a physical point of view? Not like I think this person's crazy, I think she's going to be attacked. None of that. This sounds like something. Oh no, it wasn't Jack. It was Charlemagne. Freaking.
Oh.
It was Charlemagne that kept saying like any whole, because I guess it had been something even before the show, and so Charlemagne and I think DJ Envy had some joke going on, and so Jack kind of jumped into it. I mean, the thing is that Jack does post some pretty wild things. Like I once went on Twitter some months ago. Like this had to be early in the year, and I don't remember why I happened to see his Twitter feed, and I was like, "What in the world is this man posting?" Like I was like, "What is happening?" It was actually kind of crazy, like very troll type stuff, and I kind of like appreciated the humor, but I was like, "This is kind of weird." Like, but it was kind of like it was up my alley, low key, in terms of the humor. But anyway, I think I'll yield my time because I'm not sure where I was going with the rest of
Yeah,
that.
I guess you were saying, I guess like initially about, you just like figuring out, like, yeah, you could recognize that this person is physically like, I guess like, yeah, like physically attractive in terms of like, like the definition that we're all more used to. I'm like, sorry, like I'll specify if I'm actually talking about physical touch next time. But so I don't want to sit here and make this fucking distinction. But like you could see that somebody like looks good, that they're physically attractive in that way. But it's like you're not really wanting to engage like intimately with her physically, like sexually or anything. So that sometimes the eyes just don't sparkle. Yeah.
Eyes don't sparkle.
Yeah. But I know that like Rocky said in terms of like response to like something that I said earlier, like facts for most guys, it's basically the same thing. Like somebody is like physically attractive, then for men, like if a man finds a woman physically attractive, then they are sexually attracted to them as well. I mean, and I guess like they can't really find like the distinction. And I don't know, and this is just like a theory of mine. Like I could be totally wrong, but like I wonder if it's because like like if a guy is gonna have sex with a woman, like he's most likely going to finish. So like I feel like that, like he could just have like that kind of experience with any woman essentially that so like I don't know if like because like to a casual hookup is fun, but it I do feel like sex can sometimes be like a little bit one-sided. Like if a guy is just like focusing on his nut, and it's like, yeah, how about it's like, and then you just sort of feel in a way like, I don't know, like I guess like I don't know, just like not really seen as like equal. I was like, if that is men's taste, then they are just lesser creatures. Essentially, that's what I kind of say in every stream, just secretly. I'm kidding.
Oh,
I'm totally kidding on that.
Fired.
I already glazed over it, honestly. I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. It's perfect, of course.
Shut up. But yeah, like I don't know. Like, I guess I've just been like thinking about like the whole like orgasm gap, and and like how, I guess like sex is kind of viewed and, like studied in certain ways. Like they'll be like, oh, the length of sex is this long, and it's usually based off of when the man finishes. And sometimes when the man finishes, it's like he doesn't finish the woman. Sometimes the woman will lie about their orgasm. Sometimes the man just doesn't care. Sometimes the man will feel some type of way if she takes out her vibrator. And now his ego is hurt, and that's like now the most important thing ever. And it's like, oh no, how dare his ego come between me and my orgasm? My bad. Like I'll let the female orgasm be a myth to you. But it's not me personally, but it is something that does happen with a lot of women and men. Like I remember like my therapist told me, he's like, yeah, one way to like really just break a man's ego is to just take out your vibrator after sex. I was like, I am definitely gonna do that. I just want to see for just shits and giggles.
Experiment.
I'm an ego breaker. But yeah, Toby, it sounded like you wanted to say something.
Yeah, there was something that you were saying. There's a few things you said. One, the vibrator thing. I literally was just having a conversation with a good friend of mine yesterday, and she was saying how like she thinks that her like man's, or her ex, I should say, really had thrown it away. I mean, she didn't really get a clear answer on what happened with it, but she says she thinks he threw it away because I guess he felt like threatened by I don't even know if it was during sex that like she had her, but like I guess somehow just the sight of it was like annoying or whatever. And I was like, what? I was like, not you being threatened by a toy. Like, what's happening right now?
Yeah, I agree, Rocky.
I just hurt by seeing this girl's vibrators. Yeah, the guy who doesn't care. Oh, that is interesting. It is interesting, but what if? I mean, it could end up being the same, right? Where it's like you don't care, but then all of a sudden when she brings it out, you're like, wait a second, why are you bringing that out? Now there could be someone definitely who is focused on trying to like basically make her come, and if he can't, then he might feel some type of way, right? Because then you feel like, oh, demasculated maybe or whatever. So I mean, to be honest, I don't know. Like I haven't exactly linked the two exactly, but it's just too crazy that yesterday I had the conversation of the vibrator, and I was just like, like I didn't realize it was such a big deal. Where like people, it is like it's the whole thing. And then the other thing was about like a lot of times, yeah, like you said, the woman doesn't finish. So, and Louis C.K. had a piece about this. I remember back in 2013. I don't know when he did it, but my roommate was really into him, so I would watch a bunch of stand-ups, and Louis was like, yeah, I don't know why woman uses like let us do this to you. Like, I don't know why you just let this happen. Like what do you get out of? I mean, that was also before I like really knew much about anything sexually. So I'm just also like, yeah, like it seems like the guy, you're having the time of your life, everything, all types of rocks getting off. But for the girl, you're just like there. I mean, like if you really like the guy, you want to, be in that cool. But if you're like not really liking the guy and you're just hooking up, it's like what's going on right now? Like what are you getting out of this? Now, of course, guys can know what they're doing, know how to make the girl come, but even in some cases, it's like they don't seem to. I mean, they'll still be willing to hook up even if there's no guarantee that they're gonna climax, or they might be willing to give head and ask for nothing in return, which is actually interesting because that's the opposite of what I saw on social media. I thought it was much more likely that like the guy would want to get the head and the girl would just feel like, basically it was like a pressure thing where it's like the guy is like basically wants a blowjob. But I've seen in the cases where it's actually girls who profess their love for giving head. And I mean, yeah, it might be nice for them to get it back, but some of them don't even care because they either don't think a guy can do it correctly or they just, I don't know, they just enjoy it. And I was like, what are you getting out of this? Like, now, one good friend of mine from high school, we ended up talking about some of these topics when I was much older, like even after college, like, because we went to high school together. We both went to college near the same area. But after college, at some point, the two of us caught up, and she was saying how giving a guy a head is like a trophy. She was like, it's just a trophy at the end. Like I want that achievement of being able to make the guy come. And I'm like, you know what? Respect. But it still kind of makes me feel like I would feel even bad asking, honestly, and be like, yo, can you do this thing for me? Because I'm like, what are you getting out of this? Unless I'm like willing to reciprocate. But if it's a case where you can't, like you're on your period or something else, then I'm like, I'd feel really awkward.
I mean, don't let that stop you.
You know what? You know what? I need a clip. I'm gonna have to go back and find a clip of
I mean, there are guys who, you know, will like, what's it like? Will ride the red wave with you.
Oh, you're saying?
No, it's true.
Oh, okay. That was a very different thing than what I thought you were saying.
Wait, what did you think I was saying?
I thought you were just saying don't let like the fact that a girl might. I basically thought you're saying don't like still feel emboldened to ask for head even if you know you can't give it back. But you were saying even if she's on her period, you were talking about the period part.
Yeah.
Okay, got you.
Yeah. No, there are guys who go down on women when they're on their period.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to. I don't know. That's different. You know what? People have their thing. I'm just gonna say that's different. That's a little different. And I don't even want to out myself completely because that would admit something. But let's just say, in theory.
What?
No, we're just not even gonna go there.
No.
Let's just say a friend. Maybe at this point, I should just stop with the illusions. My hand went somewhere, and at the very end of it, I took my hand out, and we were in the dark, so I didn't know what was going on. I take my hand out, I look at my fingers, and it is redder than tomato paste. And I was like, excuse me. Well, I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. I just went to the bathroom because I was using the bathroom. When I turned on the bathroom light, that's when I looked at my fingers and I was like,
Gotcha.
Oh.
What? And I didn't say anything. I just was like, wow. I didn't bring it up to her. I was just like, in fact, when I told, because I didn't go around spreading the story. Like, I didn't just like, I kept it to myself, and I actually don't think about it much now. But like, when I have very few times I've mentioned, because I think sometimes people might ask me, "Oh, are you into doing stuff when someone's on the period, whatever?" And I'm like, no, but this thing happened, and one girl I remember was, no, I mean, one girl was like, she was like, oh, she might have been really embarrassed and didn't even know it was coming on. You might have broken like that kind of seal, sort of, because apparently that's the thing where like if you're about to start, oh wait, are you looking at the face because of what Rocky's saying or what I'm saying?
No, Rocky was. So yeah, that is a thing. Like,
Orbits would be great. Dirty mouth, clean it up. You remember those commercials? Listen, maybe I shouldn't say this because maybe you have an opinion about this and you're with it. Maybe you've seen it. I mean, you can get into your personal experience. You don't have to, but I'm curious what you think about it because some people are pretty adamant don't do it. So a lot of girls are like, I don't want anything near me when I'm bleeding.
Right.
So I'm kind of curious your take.
Oh,
sorry to put you
like. Whatever, it's not my mouth going down there. But like, if he wants to do that and like, like we are, both have a clean bill of health, then I don't really see the problem. Like I have dated a guy who I was never on my period when he would go down on me, but like not like on purpose, but like it's just whenever we would hang out because like he just lived far. But he has told me that he has like previous relationships where he would do that. I mean, like, I don't know. It would just like depend on the relationship. Of course, like I'm not going to you know, like I want to say I want to like, you know, pressure a guy to do that if he doesn't want to. But my husband will.
So there's no. You're that periods don't stop nothing but a sentence. Oh, man.
And like if I'm just like dating around, but like if that's like an option on the table of men, then I was like, you know, it's kind of like, you know, you just kind of want the guy who kind of like comes with everything. It's like, hey, like why not? Why not have that guy who would do that?
Gotcha.
But like, yeah, that's like would I marry someone who wouldn't? I don't know. Like I don't know. Like I don't know. Like I don't, cause like I don't know, when you're married to someone and you're like with them for a long time, like why would that like stop you? I feel like you're just gonna kind of try everything at least, you know, like once. That's my opinion on things. Like I don't want to, you know, like I don't want to be married to someone that like I can't be like sexually explorative with, you know, like and just like try and do all the things. Like if it doesn't like work out for us in terms of like, you know, doing certain things, then that's fine. Like if it's, you know, if it's not like a must, you know, like I'm not saying that that's a must, but like he should be like willing to be open to it. It's a sickness.
Ooh, man.
I guess I should say like he should be like open to it, because like, yeah, that's just my opinion on things. Like I don't know, like to date someone who like, I mean to like be married to someone like who wouldn't be like, that's, I feel like that's just like a little limiting for me.
Okay.
But like I don't know.
Oh man.
I don't know. Like I guess I'm like a little iffy on that, because it's like I can understand, but it's like I remember there was like this one guy who I almost hooked up with him. But you know, like I was trying to like kind of get out of it because like his house was a complete mess. And I was just like, this is like I don't have, like this is just turning me off completely. And I was trying to get out of it, so I was just like, oh, you know, I'm like it's that time of the month, I'm on my period. And he was just like, is it like the beginning or is it like towards the end? And I was just like, it was kind of, I was like, oh, you know, I don't know, like, because I don't think I was even on it, but like he was open to it. And like there are men who are like that. It's like, oh, is it like just starting? Because it's not like it's, you know, it's not like when it starts, it's just constantly on, you know. And that's like another thing too, you know, like yeah, like if I'm on my period, doesn't mean like I'm just constantly flowing, you know. Like it like it starts and like it stops, and then so like you technically can go down on a woman on her period. It's just like maybe like it's kind of like at like a just a at a pause. Self-respect is the problem.
So this is definitely see. First when I was like, I saw that comment, I was like, is this about the thing with the vibrator? Or no, it's pretty clear this is about the period thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely some different opinions on this one. Like I think with what you're saying now, like that is interesting that someone was so willing, right? And I mean, I don't know how the story sort of ends with like, I mean, you didn't hook up with him. It sounds like
no. His home was like so fucking filthy. Like I never bothered seeing him again.
Define filthy. Is it like specifically like trash and like food strewn everywhere, smell, or is it even just like a lot of clutter?
It was a lot of clutter. There was a lot of trash. You know, he had like a cat and a dog, and it just seemed like like things weren't really well kept. It was kind of dark. I remember it was kind of rainy too, so like that's probably why the place was like a little dark. But like, I just remember like going into because I had to like use the bathroom. I remember going to his bathroom and like it was just a mess. Like there was like a sock on the floor, if I'm not mistaken. I think there was like a sock in the shower too, which didn't make sense. But, like, it was just like, and like he was a homeowner too, so like there was just like a level of like, and granted, I'm not like the cleanest person, but like I'm sure if he were to come over to my place, even though like it's not like the cleanest right now, like he would probably say it's clean. Like I could definitely get it, like clean for like like presentable for mail company in like 20 minutes, if that. It's like hey, I'm coming over right now. It's like, okay, I can start cleaning up and it'll look fine. Even if I didn't, it'll still like look fine. But just like for my, I guess, like comfort in terms of like, hey, don't judge me, but yeah. But like for him, because he was saying, because like I was kind of like going back and forth whether or not I wanted to come over there, because it was actually going to be like my first time meeting him. I was meeting him like online. And so yeah, like I was kind of like iffy about that, and he was like, I was like, oh, I'm working from home or something, blah blah blah. And then apparently, like according to him, he said that when I came over, he was like, oh, I actually went into the office for a bit because I wasn't sure if you were actually gonna come over, blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, if I worked from home, like the place would have been like cleaner. And my head is like, there's no fucking way you were able to clean up this place in like this would take days. I'm not even exaggerating. It would take days of cleaning for it to just get like yeah, it's just, yeah, it was just absolutely filthy. And I was just like, yeah. And he wasn't even like bad looking. I mean, his pictures didn't really match him. Like he was definitely like bigger, like like kind of like he like his pictures online seemed like he was like he weighed less than, but like he wasn't bad looking. Like I would have been down like if he was, if the house was just clean. But like I can't remember if the house had a smell. I can't quite remember that, but like it's just like it's like he can't find his own keys in the house. You're gonna find them.
See,
True.
that is a key, a major key.
That is true. Like I didn't even think of that, but yeah, I guess so. Like it was just like no, because he was like, I must have been, I don't know, like 27, 28. I think he was a little older than me. He was probably like 30, 31. And it was just kind of giving like college boy apartment, and yeah.
That makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. It was just, but like it almost seemed like I can understand if like multiple men lived there to make the amount of mess and just like filth that there was. So yeah, no, like that, and this was like years ago, and I still remember it. It's just sad because it's like I know that there's a lot of people who like live like that, and like they think it's like okay. Like I think I've mentioned this on the stream before. I know I definitely mentioned it in my podcast. A talk housekeep. Sorry, I think the internet just went out. Can you guys see me?
Yeah, it's a little staticky or a little like something.
Yeah, saying like my connect. Oh my goodness, what the fucking connection. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, like I definitely mentioned it on my podcast about like, housekeeping.
Mm.
And like they say that like women see like the like mess as like a reflection on themselves. Like if my home is messy, it's a reflection on me. Whereas
Mm.
like more so men, when it's messy, it's not really a reflection on them. It's just like that's just how it is.
Just healthy.
I'm not saying that this is all men. I'm not saying this is all women. It's just like from like the studies that they've done, it's just like more of a majority women are like this. And like, growing up, my mom would be I would see how like my mom would treat like my brothers in terms of like cleanliness. Like she would make sure like, like they had to, make things clean and like a room clean or whatever. But she wasn't as like strict on them as she was me. She may feel like the opposite, but it was just like the wording that she would use. She'd be like, "Oh, you have to make sure the place is clean. You're a female child, so you're a girl." Blah blah blah. Like, especially like when she was living with me, even before she lived with me, like she would like see my bathroom and like just like I don't know why the fuck she'd even go into my room, into my bathroom, but she just wanted to like start some bullshit. And so she would just like, like be like, your bathroom is dirty, blah, blah, blah. It's like, how you expect to like attract somebody or like, any like who can like really come here? But I was like, I have a second bathroom for one. And two, like if somebody were to like come over, if I knew he was coming over, I would clean. Granted, it's like now I'm, like I'm a lot more like, I guess like more cognizant and more like cleanly. And I guess that was probably like a reflection of like my depression. But um, like when I see but like even if like a guy were to have like come over at like it was like if my bathroom was at like its dirtiest, it's still like wouldn't even be as bad as like some men's bathrooms that I've seen like back in college and shit like that. And but not to like say like, oh, my bathroom was the best. Like I'm not trying to say that, but like I don't know. So a lot more guys would clean their rooms growing up if they knew it developed their skills with attention to detail and how much they need for it. It's true. I was actually gonna mention this to one of my friends at work. Like he has a son. I think the son is probably like middle school or something. And he was trying to teach his son like why they need to like, he needs to like clean things around the house. And I wanted to mention to him like it's like, hey, yo, if your son is into women, if he's into like girls, you should let him know that women do find that very attractive. Like if a guy is clean, like if a guy like if he cleans up, if he's tidy, like women do find that very attractive. And we, it's not like we're cognizant of that. Like at least I'm only speaking for myself, but I think this is like true to a certain extent. Like you don't know what you're attracted to until like you see it sometimes. Like like this happens like if you're only like around white people, you wouldn't know that you're attracted to maybe like black people until like you see them. Like this happened when I was like in Japan. Like I met this guy on Tinder. I never actually met him in person, but we still keep in contact through social media. Like he was only like attracted to like Asian women because that's it's in Japan, and like they would have like advertisements of like white women on things too. But he ended up going to like Africa for something, and then he just like fell in love with black women. And he's just been like very attracted to black women like ever since. So I feel like it's in a way that case where I didn't know I was like attracted to like cleanliness in men until like I actually like saw it. There was one time I remember in college that I did see it. It was like freshman year. I went over to like this guy's place and I went into his bathroom. The bathroom was like, pretty tidy. Like it was tidy, and one thing that stuck out to me was that there was a trash bin in his bathroom. You don't know how many, and it's not like I was out here like hooking up and going around to all these different men. It's like I'd have like guy friends, or like guys would have parties, or guys would like host things, and I would go to their house, and then I go to their bathroom, and they wouldn't have trash bins in their bathrooms, and I'm like, how the hell do they even have girlfriends? I was convinced that every guy who had a girlfriend and he didn't have a trash bin in his bathroom, his girlfriend was cheating on him with a guy who actually has a trash bin in his bathroom. It's absolutely infuriating. Like it drives me absolutely insane if a guy doesn't have a trash bin in his bathroom. And I would see this on Reddit, if you like the Ask Women subreddit. Like guys would be like, "Oh, women of Reddit, what's something that, like men do, or I don't know, something like that you may not know, or like men may just kind of like look past." And a lot of women would be like, if he doesn't have a trash bin in his bathroom. And I was like, I thought I was fucking crazy, because it's like, how do you not? Like, how do you
Really?
That's interesting. Like, yeah, ever since I got to college, I always had like a little small, tiny trash can. Now sometimes that was for my actual room, but then when I got like my own apartment, right, then it was like, okay, this now becomes the bathroom one. And I've always had that, and this is the first time I'm actually like hearing that this is like a thing. Which is actually kind of wild. I mean, maybe sometimes I have seen where trash cans seem to maybe, and I'll be honest, I've been guilty recently of not having a trash bag in the bin, but that's partly because I've been doing like a lot of hardcore composting, and so I don't really have a chance to have a lot of tissue paper. Anything that's not going into the toilet is pretty much going into a compost bin. But I can see how that can be like, you look around, you're like, what the heck? There's no trash can, or if the trash can doesn't have a bag. That's so interesting. Very good to know. Girl code right here. I'm actually very glad we're like I'm hearing from your perspective of like some turn offs and some things that are turn ons and stuff. Yeah.
No, I try to spread this far and wide, because it's so fucking awkward when you're on your period and you're like, okay, let me just like change my pad or tampon or whatever you got going on, and you're like trying to find like a trash bin. It's like, oh, is it like underneath the cabinet, underneath the sink in the cabinet? So some people have the trash bins there. So like you look around the toilet, you look in the shower, you look, there's no fucking trash bin.
Inside the shower.
I'm kidding. But it's like, okay, now I have to like awkwardly go into the kitchen to throw it out, or I have to like wrap it up a lot and put it in like in my purse or something, because it's like, because like this motherfucker decided to not have a trash bin in his bathroom because he's fucking stupid and inconsiderate. Like, a very small apartment bathroom. Yeah. Like, yeah, you can hang a plastic bag on the inside of the cabinet. You just do something. Like you got to, especially if you, if you're involved with a woman. Hell, like even if you're not, like even if you have like woman friends or you're hosting something, like women are going to come over. Girls are going to come over, and like if you don't, like sometimes we're on our periods and sometimes we need to change our pads, or sometimes like there's just, I don't know, something that we probably just need to like, get rid of, or toss out or throw out. But it's just like, I would see more men without trash bins in their bathroom than men who had trash bins in their bathroom. Real talk, in college.
Okay.
It's like you go to these parties, you go, people are hosting like little movie nights. Okay. All right. Come on, internet. Stop fucking up. But like, yeah, like men would always be hosting things. Yeah. Come on, internet. Internet, come on, please. All right. I think
I wouldn't have noticed that you're cut in.
No, you're still
interesting, because you seem to be coming in clear. I don't know if you hear me in real time right now.
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you real time right now. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Man, my internet's, stop doing that, internet. Anyways, No, but like, men would always be hosting things, and then just it was just that's bad parenting because my parents gave me the 4-1 on that. Have a trash can with a lining in the bathroom. Make sure you have wet wipes in there as well. No fragrance, etc. That's good. No, that's excellent.
Yeah.
I guess I never knew that this was something that like. I guess I didn't know that this was something that would have to be taught to boys because like I come from like I have a lot of siblings. I have 3 sisters and 3 brothers. So I guess like my brothers, grew up with trash bins in their bathroom because there was a lot of girls in the house. So, and like, if you're opening up the new toothpaste and you have the box and you just throw the box out or something, or I don't know, opening up a new toothbrush or getting rid of the empty roll of toilet paper, you just like toss it in there or something.
Yeah.
So, but and it was really fucking annoying when there wouldn't be any extra toilet paper in men's bathrooms. Oh my fucking lord. It's like, oh my, like men would always have parties and just totally forget what women need. And like, it's just so fucking, like when I think back on it, it's like, that's actually really fucking inconsiderate. You take 2 steps into the other side of the apartment because how small the apartment was.
But that is interesting because I know sometimes when it comes to what girls have, I mean, sometimes people have asked if I've had those little bobby pins or if I've had I'm trying to remember what other things they've sometimes asked, like, do you have
hair ties?
Maybe hair ties. Sometimes they'll ask it when they're at my place. Sometimes, not even like, oh, I have a girl who I'm hooking up with, but like when I had a lot of more female friends over,
right.
Pool parties and stuff, and I'm like, And then same thing if I'm out and I'm like giving people rides, maybe they'll ask, and I'm like, oh no, I didn't even think to have XYZ thing. So it is interesting, like, what kind of like things should you be expected to have? I guess it makes sense though in the case you're talking about. It's like parties, you're having people over. It's not just guys. Like unless it's literally just like you and the boys at some private frat thing. But like most likely you're having women over. And so yeah, that is actually a good point that if you're hosting like that, you should like have things available. I think when I never really hosted, but I never really had real parties. Like I would say that didn't happen until honestly just the past year or two. But like in college, I definitely wasn't personally. It was usually my roommate who might have some people over, different roommates. In grad school, it was again my roommates mostly who really had people over. Like not like unless we're just pre-gaming, maybe I'll invite some friends. But if it's like really a real party, like it was probably my roommates sometimes. And I lived with. It was actually low key like 3 girls to 2 guys. It was 3 of us, where it was 2 guys and a girl on the lease. 1 guy was dating a girl, and then I ended up having a friend of all of ours really, who ended up living in the downstairs. So it was like 2 floors. First floor was 3 rooms. Second floor, both rooms were 3. Both floors were 3. So either case, the girl ended up living just in that suite alone, like in the downstairs part. But like, that ended up being 5 girls to 2 guys. So I think like in that case, it was kind of like you had the woman's touch there, to help with certain things. But like if I was living by myself and I was hosting, I wouldn't even think about that, to be honest. Now the toilet paper, definitely that became a problem though when I hosted, and I would always run out of toilet paper, and I had to start asking people like, yo, if you're gonna come over and hang out, I'm gonna need someone to bring some toilet paper. Usually it was a case though where they were going to get food anyway, and so they would literally be like, do you need anything? I'm like, please bring some toilet paper, or paper towels, or even dish soap. That's because they were using a lot of stuff, and so I would have to use my things. But if it's just me, I usually keep myself pretty well stocked with tissue paper, paper towels, toilet paper, whatever. And the whole bathroom would be flooded. Whoa. Trash can. I barely had room for a plunger. I mean, it was a studio. I see. My freshman year had a really tiny bathroom where it's like it's a cube. Like you're in that thing, literally. Like you can reach out. The doors, one door's here because it's like a suite where it's two dorm rooms connected onto one bathroom. So
Gotcha.
literally I close this bathroom, I can reach here and close this one. It's not, I don't even think my whole wingspan reaches. I don't think it's that big. And like the front to back is tiny too. Like the actual toilet, like if you're sitting on the toilet, you can easily reach your arms forward and touch the bathtub sill or whatever. So that thing was a tiny bathroom. But like it did have enough room-ish for like the plunger and other stuff. But the catch was the sinks weren't in the bathroom. The sinks were in the bedrooms. So, which is interesting. So the sink were in each of the 2-person bedrooms, and so all you had to do in the bathroom is literally just use the bathroom, do your business. A little nasty if you think about it, because it's like, wait a second, you have to like touch the doorknob after doing your business.
Yes.
Like, wait a second. And I thought about this randomly, like sometime this year. I was like, wait a second, what the heck is happening? Now, that was only that dorm. Like other dorms, I would know that. To be honest, that's actually how all of the bathrooms worked. Even the better dorms, like the sophomore dorms, we'll call them, where you have, it's more like a suite where, because the ones I described, you actually enter your dorm room through your personal room, and then the bathroom connects the two. So it's a 4-person like suite, but basically it's just 2 dorms connected by a bathroom. The nicer dorms, the sophomore dorms, we'll call them, those ones you actually enter into the living room. So that actually has a living room. And then you have the 2 apartment rooms, which of course is like, I mean, this is how like most apartments are, but this is a dorm. So the bathroom's there, but you still have the sinks in the bathroom. So this is kind of weird, where it's like you get out the bathroom, you're in the living room, then you have to get into your bedroom, and let's hope that the door is not closed, because otherwise you're touching the doorknob. So questionable. But thankfully the apartments were a little bit different, where even if the sink wasn't in the bathroom, at least the bathroom was inside the main area where the sink was. So you didn't have to like go into your room or the living room to get to the freaking sink. And then the really nice dorm, actually, I think I lied. I think the bathroom did have a sink in the sophomore dorms. I think there might have been sinks. I don't know. In any case, the point is, yeah, those tiny bathrooms just brought back a whole lot of memories, and it makes maybe certain like nice things that I was talking about a little bit more difficult in some of those cases. But hopefully, when you're in your own place, I mean, this is a studio, then you have at least more room to spruce things up and make it more appealing. Visual strategy. You know what? Listen, I'm about to, Ryan from The Office, literally taking notes. Remember like that meme where it's just like, I have a book of everyone who wronged me. So I was like, I'm just taking these notes. You know what? We're just gonna make this place so uninhabitable. Like not so uninhabitable that she won't want to come in the first place. No pun intended. But but so bad that it's like I don't even have to kick her out. No, I'm not actually suggesting we do that. But oh man. This is kind of cool because part of like what, you know, I was like interested in, and you know, this conversation can take a million different routes as it already has, which is good. But like the kind of guy code, girl code, where it's like, what actually do you find attractive, or what are things that you should be doing? This is kind of in the attractive space. We definitely will be talking more about the specifics of like dating and sort of the ship, even if it's not a real dating scenario, the ships, all the situation and whatever's. But I think this is like really cool to be able to hear the kind of girl code, or maybe even guy code of like what is like something, what are these things that you sort of find as these turn on or turn offs that we might not think about. Simple things like have a bathroom, a toilet in your, or a trash can in your bathroom. Now that though is the next phase, because right, there's like different levels, and then the boss level, we have to like get past the first level of even having her willing to come over, right? And so there's certain things that you'll notice that make you even willing to want to come by and possibly hook up, or even if you're not intent on hooking up, to come over, right? Because that's the thing, is it's also just outside of that, because people have different, you know, standards of things. It might not even be a hookup, but what would even make you want to spend the company of the person you're interested in, spend time in that person's company. And so I guess when it comes to cleanliness, outside of how they keep themselves inside of their home, what are things that you might see about them? Like, would you kind of talk about the grooming maybe? Or
Hmm.
what are some of those, like, okay, this person, based on how they presented themselves physically, I might
Like out in the world.
yeah, out in the world, out the coffee shop, out in the wherever, or even if you're at a party, right? Maybe you're at a party and you meet someone, and there's a way that they're there that you're kind of like, you know what? Or the Publix, you're in the
Right.
Publix.
That guy Publix.
Okay.
So like I highlighted these last three comments. I don't know if you guys already did, but so honestly, Rocky, and I'll get to your point in a second, Toby. Honestly, Rocky, like I have thought about this, like if guys are doing that in like on purpose, because it feels like you do feel slighted, like you do feel like this is intentional. But like you just have to be reminded that a lot like some people just don't think I guess don't think that far. Like they've never really like they probably only grew up with like boys in the house, or hell, even some of them probably had sisters, but like they didn't see a need for a trash bin in the bathroom because they don't have periods. Or I'm also thinking about it more so like in a college perspective anyway. So I don't know if they just couldn't afford a trash bin in the bathroom, but they could have, done something to make shift. It's like, yeah, I understand that we're all broke college students, but you go to the grocery store, you get a fucking plastic bag. You can like nail it to the door or just have it hang over the, like the cabinet underneath the sink or something. You could do something. Like you could, you have probably like a care package Amazon box, and then just put a fucking plastic bag in there. Like like you could have done something, but like I don't really think they had the fortitude to think like that. I wouldn't say none of them did. Like I'm sure there might have been like one or two, but I feel like that's such a like high manipulative level that I don't think most men would have really have done that. But it does feel like it's like kind of like an attack against you, like because it just feels so inconsiderate. Like you're 18 to 22, so you don't really know like the verbiage of what you're feeling. Like you just feel unthought of. You feel almost, and like periods don't have like the nicest reputation. They're usually looked at and like discussed and things like that. So like us women sort of will feel like lesser than in a way, at least in my opinion. So it's like, wow, he doesn't even care that a woman can be in his presence and be on her period. Like it's just not even a consideration. So that's just, like now that I'm older, I kind of have like, I can sort of explain my feelings more, but it just felt very like, it just felt bizarre, and also just kind of like embarrassing because now I have to make an awkward trip to like his kitchen to throw it out, or just have it like in my purse and just like have it some like just to throw it out because it's like you almost just want to like just throw it underneath his sink or something, just like like as like a fuck you. Like it's like actually, like whoever is watching this, like any girl who's like in college or is like with a man who doesn't have a trash bin in his bathroom, do that shit for me.
I'm done.
I agree, Chad. Like you'd have to have quite the game to take the hit on that front end for that purpose. When Rocky says fuck boys think like a grocery store that has lost leaders, I just have to get them through the door.
Lost leaders.
Can you please further explain that, Rocky? I think we're having trouble understanding that, like getting people through the front door in order to just kind of like get like purchase something or feel the need to lost leaders. I just have to get them through the door. That is true. Elle, most men are not taught how to cater to women, and most women are not taught how to cater to men. No, women are taught how to cater to men. I think we are. Like, I mean, besides chivalry, since that's not really valued today.
I beg to differ.
You think? Yeah, that's true. Rock. I mean, Ron was quite the gentleman. Ron was absolutely a gentleman. I was like, ooh, it's nice to have a man. Like, I was like, oh, this is what it's like.
It makes sense when you have a whole husband. It's like the good ones are taken, right?
But hold on. Even before I got married, I was always doing that. Like, it didn't matter who it was. It's because that's just the way how I was taught, and that was my upbringing. Especially since, like, my mom and my grandma instilled that inside of me and my brother. Like, always open the car door for your lady. Open the door for her as you go into the restaurant, store, whatever the case may be. If you are going to a restaurant, be sure to pull out her chair, and if possible, scoot her in. Do a lot of the things that is helpful. Help her down the stairs, yada yada yada. Because little do you know, that actually goes a long way. And so these are some of the things that I teach my own daughter. Like, when we go to the car, I'm like, let me get the car door for you so you can sit in. Once you get in, I'll close it for you. This, that, the third. If we're going to the store, if the store has like the where you can open up, we have to manually open up. Hey, what's going on, Whispering Eyes?
Hey,
long time no see. Good to see you.
If we have to like manually open up the doors, I'll open up the door so she goes in first, and those little small things, is a lot what I was taught and brought up. Even then, like even before I got married, I was always doing that, and so, when Elle was down here from Michigan, it made it no different. To me, it was no different. Like, she's a woman, let me be that gentleman for her, let me help her down the bus stairs, let me open the door, let me scoot the chair out, let me do this and the third. Just a lot of the little things so that in return, she can enjoy her time, she can enjoy herself, be herself, and just be comfortable at the end of the day. At the end of the day, be comfortable, because, again, I'm going to have a good time. If I'm having a good time, I want to make sure she as well is having a good time. So now my parent, my dad, boom. My dad was something else. My dad was something else. The only thing positive thing he did teach me was, if I mess around and got a girl pregnant, then it was my responsibility to take care of both the child and the woman. Other than that, any kind of like general etiquette, nope. I didn't get that from him. None. Zero. Zilch. Nada. Not a thing. Nothing. Like, he taught me how to grill a steak and a potato and some vegetables during the middle of a Michigan winter, which is something I will probably not do because I don't like food. Huh?
That's an odd time to grill.
This man grilled all year round. It did not matter. If he wanted a steak and a potato, he was going to grill him a steak and a potato. Did not matter. He did it. And I'm like, yeah, you would not. You was a crazy one, because you would not catch me dead in the middle of the winter grilling. Like, ain't no way. If you see me out there, it's because I'm shivering cold and I need some heat. So he do it right in the middle of the winter. I had him a good old fire. He'd stand out there, come inside, get warmed up, and he'll go right back out there again. I'm like, yeah, nah, Dad, you a brave one. Mm-mm. Yeah, but no, like I said before, like as far like general, as far as like etiquette goes, I got a lot of that from my mom and from my grandma. And my dad, I mean, he tried, but it was just weird and it was very awkward. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm straight.
Okay. No, but that's great that, like what your mom and your grandma taught you, that you took it to heart, and like you listened and applied it, and you see the results.
Yes.
Uh,
Even
uh-huh.
because I know you made the point about the trash can in the bathroom thing.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. That was a steal too. Like I made it a point, like no matter where we went as far as a house goes, like if we had a main bathroom, the main bathroom had like a little small trash can in there, so it was there. There's no questions, no excuse. Like no trash can in the bathroom. Why? Because it's needed.
Mhm.
It was something that I grew up having. Even living with my dad and my stepmom, we had a trash can. We actually had two bathrooms because we had a full bathroom and we had a half a bathroom upstairs and downstairs. Upstairs was the full bathroom, had a trash can in it, and the downstairs had a half a bathroom, but it also had a trash can in that one as well. And so it was common for us to have a total of three trash cans in the house. And so again, when I got older, I'm like, okay, depending upon how many bathrooms I have, I know I'm gonna have at least one trash can in that bathroom,
Right.
just because. My shower room it's what it is. It's a shower room, so we don't necessarily put a trash can in there. But we do is we have like a little plastic bag hanging on the back side of the door. So
Mhm.
just if that time of the month happens, it goes in there and then shower. There you go. Take it out, throw it away for all other trash. So it's done deal. The one upstairs is for the one upstairs. Same rules, same principles applies. Like once it gets full, dump it out. So
Exactly.
there's a lot of lessons that you've brought up and that you've mentioned is like, hey, you're already doing this. So woohoo, I'm already ahead of the curve.
Yes.
Already ahead of the curve.
By
Already.
by a lot. And like I feel like things like that, especially like the trash can in the bathroom, is like when women are complaining about how men don't even do the bare minimum. I feel like trash can in the bathroom is definitely something that's bare minimum.
Yeah.
The bar is on.
It's like I might have missed this, but where are people putting their paper towels after washing their hands if they're in the bathrooms? Like no trash cans in the bathrooms. Um, I guess I'm more so think like I was bringing up my college years
Mhm.
when like guys would like be hosting things. If I was like going over to a guy's place for any reason, whether it was like a guy I was you know like kind of seeing, like hooking up with, or just a guy friend or someone that I know who knows someone who like a guy who's hosting something, and I was at their house. Like a lot of times, more times than not, there would be no trash can in the bathroom. And it was just absolutely frustrating. Like they wouldn't really have like paper towels. I feel like it'd probably be more so like I'm trying to because like this was like fucking college, so like everything was just kind of gross, but you just dealt with it. Like so when I think about like beer pong back in the day, it's like we're really just like letting that ping pong ball just roll all over the ground. We dump it in the water cups, like it's clean. No, it wasn't. But it was probably like just like towels people would probably have, or like people would probably just dry their hands on like their pants or something instead of using paper towels. But that's an excellent point. Like where do people put like the paper towels after washing their hands? Maybe they would just I don't know if there was paper towels or some shit. If they would probably just throw it in the kitchen trash, or I don't know, it, probably throw it on the ground. I don't if that were the case, or I don't know. Like it would. It's a towel for drying.
I was gonna
hands,
say
yeah.
that actually that sometimes you actually do have like a real towel, right? And
Mhm.
if you don't have a hand towel, it's like, oh, you have towels hung up in the bathroom, which probably shouldn't be using.
But it was
In fact,
college, you know, like
my roommates actually had like there was a towel and it was always wet, and it was this was anyway. I'm not gonna be very specific about where this was, but like it was a time that. There was like a hand towel, and I was like, "Why is this hand towel always soaking wet?" I was like, well, "Who's like how does the thing get so wet from wiping your hands dry?" And so me and my other roommate, I was like, "What's up with this?" And then he was like, "No, like this is what the wait a second."
for the spicer for I guess beer pong. It's like the alcohol will clean the germs. That was our logic. You know?
Oh yes, yeah, I've heard the alcohol thing too. It's like I mean, a lot of times it's just the water, but in any case, people come up with whatever rationale. But like the guy was like, no, that's not like because the guy was hanging up this little small washcloth on the like bar where you would put like a regular hand towel. He's like, no, like that's my washcloth. I wipe my booty hole with that, and I was like. He literally said that. He literally said those words. And I was like, bro, what? No, that's not okay. I was like, that should not be hung up here because I've been using this to try to wipe my hands. It's always soaking wet. Like,
Oh my god.
or my butt or whatever he said. I was like, yo, no, this is not it.
Yeah, it's like you're supposed to like hang that up in your shower. At least like even if you don't have like the bar in the shower or any sort of thing to hang it and you like hook. Like the shower curtain.
Yeah, you could even
Or
put
like
it there.
or
That's
like
like
the
better.
or if they have like the sliding door handles, like you put it on the handles.
Yeah.
You put it on the fuck.
So you had to literally wash your hands twice now. God.
Right.
Yeah. It was something else. It was something else.
Oh, yes. Have an excellent night, Chad.
Yeah, see you, Chad. Oh man, that was hilarious.
Yo,
Oh man.
man, this is interesting though. Like, and kind of thinking back, like, I hope I'm not cutting off anyone's train of.
I do want to like I didn't forget your question earlier, Toby. I'm just letting you know.
Wait, was it about
like
the attraction inside of like public places?
Yeah, like seeing men out in the wild. Like,
oh, actually, that's perfect because that was low-key kind of what I was thinking of. Not that exact thing, but I was kind of thinking in my head of like, what did I find attractive, like law of attraction? Because I don't even know how to quantify all the things. But I think if you were gonna go ahead and talk, I'm more than happy to listen. Why is this booty so my But yeah, because I didn't want to think too hard about that. But it was more of like, I guess.
His washcloth. Well,
the washcloth, and so that's the problem. It wasn't like, because my bath towel is also like not that wet because you hang it in a place where it's not getting soaked. You put it in the back. Because I actually do hang mine on the same shower curtain, and it doesn't really get very wet. Because I just kind of keep it high up there. But this was literally the washcloth, and so like, is it like think about it if it's like the sponge, but except unlike a loofah, which kind of will self dry. Like I don't know, a loofah absorbs, but it kind of drains itself. But like a washcloth, it's just gonna be heavy and just sit there.
Right. Yeah, for a while.
Now, I will say no, but I do have this book on my little stack, The Art of Seduction. The light is not great. I actually don't have my light on today, and I actually kind of like it. I don't have the light on in my room. I just have like the hallway light and my closet light, and I actually think it's a lot more even because that light back there is just crazy. Glare.
It was a little blinding.
Yeah, but this Art of Seduction, by the same person who has the 48 Laws of Power. This book though is pretty thick. Like I don't complain about thickness normally, but this is a little bit thick, and like I don't know if I can read all of this. Like I'm done. Ring out. Yeah, no, that's actually to happen.
That's definitely he needs to do that.
This book is like this book also has small text. There's a lot going on in this book, but I do want to like when it comes to the law of attraction, I didn't know which like what was the formal book. Like, do people just have different ideas about this? What is it actually? Like, is it one series by the same author, or is it just different? Like, I'm kind of curious. Whispering Eyes, and if anyone else knows, like, what the kind of main law of attraction books are, like the I don't know the canon, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I've heard of the law of attraction books, and I've heard of the art of seduction. Like, I think my friend is reading that, or she definitely told me about it. People have their own ideas, but generally in the same form. Thank you, and it will be. Yeah. Okay, so it's like manifesting.
Because that's typically how I've heard about law of attraction. Outside of even like physical like attraction, it was more of like the backlight will have. Yes, that's exactly it. I told y'all the backstage is open after Tuesday night. I wish Misha was here, but TMC and show. Let's see. The backstage is open for business after this stream.
Not even.
I don't even want to understand that.
I will say that was not supposed to be any kind of. It was definitely an innuendo, but it was nothing to do with the back because I'm realizing how that could be foreseen. There's no. Anyways, we're just gonna move on from that. Let me plug my phone in because one was at 2%.
Toby's living life on the edge.
Yo.
I will ask you the question, sir.
So what?
I'll start asking you questions like, sir, like, I find a hint to the peoples of something that didn't be mentioned on stream.
I'm not sure.
I'm not. I don't think I'm understanding Heather.
No, just move on. Again, in reference to the backstage, to the back door, you move on.
Yeah, I know that.
I was more just saying like it's basically like hook up like after the stream, the backstage, aka my bedroom. But I wasn't trying to make any. I wasn't trying to make any kind of proprietary references necessarily.
Yeah,
not understanding.
I'm dead.
Oh
yeah, it just gets worse. I feel like the more at least D's got my back, or maybe she's also shaking her head to be honest. But
I think she's dying right now.
Yeah,
I think
that's what the D stands for. Just dying.
Woo! Okay, we in here. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But Elle, you wanna go ahead and answer Toby's question?
Right. So Toby's question was like, I guess, what do I find attractive in men, like out in the wild, or like aesthetically, like physically? Definitely. Like, I'd say like the first thing I notice on a guy is if he has a beard. I'm very attracted to beards. So it's usually like the first thing I notice. Second thing I notice is like his outfit. And mind you, this is like in the span of like in like a half a second or something. It's like you see the peripheral, somebody's coming, it's like, oh, looks like a guy with a beard, outfit. And yeah, height isn't like, I'm not really too big on height, no pun intended. But like, I just prefer a guy who's taller than me. But South Florida, like, guys aren't really like particularly like tall. Yeah, like a guy if he's like 5'11", not like. I feel like 5'11" is a good height. Not like in terms of like, I feel like that's tall to me. Well, I'm 5'7", so if he's checking off all those boxes,
Careful.
I'm sorry. Like he doesn't like I just prefer if he's taller than me. I would more than likely date a guy who is 5'5" than 6'5" personally. But like I wouldn't be I wouldn't be like totally turned off if a guy is like 6'5", as long as he's like, hot and the whole nine. But usually I'm more so into guys who are probably like anywhere between like 5'9" to 6 foot. But I'm not like a super like stickler on height personally. But the first thing I notice if he has a beard and like if he has like a good outfit on, then I'll probably like really start looking at his face. And if it's like, if he has like a nice face, then how tall am I? I'm 5'7". So I guess I'm kind of tall for a woman. Like, I know you don't think so, Toby.
I know. That's why I wasn't laughing at you, but I laughed because I remembered that conversation.
Yeah, you're a little shorter than I thought. She was like, "Oh, okay." That's never been told to me. Everyone, like, okay. Actually, I thought like Ron was taller than I thought he'd be. So in person, yeah.
I'll take.
Boom.
But that's usually like the first. But like, his clothes have to like fit him well. Like if his clothes are like baggy, I'm not really into it. If like if he if he's like kind of like looking like if his clothes are like probably like crushed or not really ironed, if it looks like he kind of just rolled out of bed sort of thing, I'm not really into it. Height is always an interesting one because the average woman tends to care more about height than the average man. That's true. Like that's definitely true. I'm not like I said, like I guess like compared to like the average woman, I'd say like I'm not too big on height. Honestly, more men have asked me what my height is on dating apps than I've asked men. Like
Interesting.
I won't lie, like I'd be curious. Like this is like now like on like dating apps like Bumble and Hinge, you could just put your height. But like before that, or sometimes people forget when they start talking. But after Elle finishes, I'm curious what Toby's answer is. This question and then what attracted him to his wife. Oh, sorry, Rocky, but this answer is never gonna answer. You're just never gonna know. I'm kidding. Okay. Yeah, no, like because like men have asked me like how tall I am, and when he asked and I asked him like, oh, how tall are you? Yeah, like what else am I attracted? Like definitely like if he's well dressed, well groomed, like has a nice face. I definitely prefer like and this is just a preference. Like I like dark hair and I like dark eyes. If he has like, and also when I say nice face, I also mean like kind of like how he presents himself. Like if he doesn't present himself, like if he's not like giving douchebag or like giving asshole, like I like a nice, like kind guy, like just like the guy at the coffee shop like earlier today. Like he just looked like, just like a good person. He looked like he cared about women's like rights. Like he looks like he, like will actually like listen to me if I spoke. Like I don't know, there was just something about his face that just seemed very kind. But yeah, like if a guy is like well groomed and well dressed, that and he's like attractive in the face, like that wins me over like any day out of the week. Like if his clothes like fits him well, and if he's like doing something hot, like reading a book out in public, or like looks like he's working on something. That's one of the reasons why I like going to the coffee shop. So no Pookies and Ray Rays.
Yeah, this is so funny. Honestly, Whisper and I are saying the quiet part that I'm thinking out loud as well, but I'm like not saying it.
Wait, what? What is it?
And Whisper and I is just saying, I guess, that he's matching these criteria, and in my head, I'm like, interesting. I also,
Oh, what?
I also seem to be matching this criteria. Yeah, interesting. What if I just happen to walk through a South Florida coffee shop one day?
It's like, guess what happens, right?
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I think these are some interesting points, especially like the because my clothes don't. I was making an effort to, because I would get large shirts by default just because I'm a little tall, not super tall, but taller, torso longer, whatever. And so I had large shirts, but I started buying medium shirts. I reverted to large in like the last year or two, but like 2020, 2019, if I got t-shirts, I was getting mediums, and sometimes they were more medium where it's like really uncomfortably small, clearly like, but like it was kind of nice too to actually just have a shirt that felt like, okay, this is a little more fitted to my body. Jeans I have to be careful with because they rip easily in some places, really comfortable places like the crotch area, and I feel like I had to be a little more careful not to have, because I did have tight jeans sometimes when I was younger. But I think it is a good point. Like when it comes to my dress clothes, my slacks, those are definitely much more loose. And so I'm like, maybe I should, like, there was a nice red, like, I think there were red pants that I showed off around like Thanksgiving or Christmas last year. Those were nice, because those ones, I mean, they were a little tighter than I actually had meant them to be, but I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'll keep it. And so I do think the form fitting thing is nice. And I think I'll have to go into that for Rocky when I guess I probably won't talk about all of it today. We have 2 more weeks, honestly, but like one thing that I do know is like, that form fitting thing is interesting. And it's not something I paid attention to for myself, but I know I'm more self-conscious when I wear something that's much more loose, and it's kind of just like, because I'm like, it's just like, it hangs kind of awkwardly. But then there's some pants, even the pants that make me look high-watered, if they hug nicely, especially at the bottom, I'm like, oh, this is kind of a nice look though. So it's kind of like a spot-on thing that you mentioned, Elle.
No, thank you. And another thing I forgot to mention is like his build too. Like, I like a guy who is, fit. He doesn't have to be like buff. He doesn't, but like, it's like you could tell like he definitely like works out and goes to the gym, or like is active in some way. Because that presents itself a lot too, because like when you work out, it is good for you and good for you mentally. And I've mentioned this before, like the gym isn't therapy. Like it helps. It's but it's not everything. But it is necessary for you to do. So like if I see a guy who has like nice arms, or like a nice like shoulders and back, or like like nice thighs, a nice ass, legs, like I noticed that. Like women like guys with a nice ass too.
Yeah, I've been hearing about that more.
I'd be like, oh, he squats, okay.
Hey, there you go.
And sometimes like certain jeans will look good on a man, like on his butt. Like it's part of like the whole form fitting kind of look. Like I'm all for hoochie daddy shorts. I'm all for like, I don't know, like I think it's just weird how like I think we were just sort of taught like women only find certain things attractive on a man, like their arms, and that's why I feel like a lot of men tend to like focus on arms. I don't know if you ever seen like those guys who clearly skip leg day. It's like,
Yeah,
like they're like jacked in the arms, but it's like, no, you gotta, look good all around. I understand like certain different body types will like accentuate things differently, but like you can definitely tell when like there's just a guy who just clearly doesn't do legs and he just goes to the gym and just does arms. And I'm like, you gotta do legs too. Like,
Yes.
yeah, no, I don't think I've ever really like met a woman who didn't appreciate a nice ass on a man. Like, you know how they always talk about, is it Chris Evans, like Captain America?
Yeah.
They call him like America's ass. It's like, that's America's ass.
Yeah.
You think this was like men talking about this? Maybe some, of course, but like no.
Ooh, okay.
You know what's hilarious about that? And this is a real story. Like, I was actually very shocked because I didn't think I was doing anything. But the same summer program where we did like a 6-week bridge going into college, at the end of it, so kind of how we decided to objectify all the women in our program, I guess the women also objectified us, except I don't think we got like a who would you have sex with. Like, if that was a thing, I didn't know about it. But they apparently had nice male butts. And I told my sisters about this, maybe even my parents, which might have been a mistake. But apparently, I was on this list of top 5 or 10 guys' best butts, and I was like, huh? Especially if you look at pictures of me from 2012, like I was very skinny. I mean, I'm skinny now, but like I didn't really have a lot of hair, so really it was just like the round face. I didn't have a beard, just a mustache, and it's just like the rest of my body was also super skinny. So I was like, where's the? I guess maybe that's why it relatively popped out in comparison. And so I'm like, that's interesting. But I don't know how, but I was like, wait, how did I make it? And this other guy who definitely has an actual big butt didn't. And he's like, oh no, that guy is too much. Like, that's too much. I was like, how is it that too much? And that guy was also kind of like skinny, but he was shorter than me. And like, but it's just his thing. I don't know. That was different. And so I told my sisters about it, and it was only a few years ago because they brought it up, and they apparently thought that was for the whole school. They thought like my whole freshman class ranked me. I was like, no way. That's like, I forgot how many thousands of people were in our class, but like we easily had like between 10,000 and 12,000 total student body. So if you do the math, it's going to be a few thousand in each class. And so no, that was not going to be a thing. But I was like, how did this happen? I should probably put this on like a Tinder profile. Was once ranked best top 5 male butts in my incoming college class. Like, I don't have the receipts for that, unfortunately, but it happened. So,
I mean, that's not something that I see on dating apps. Like, guys would say like more so like generic things, like, oh, voted time of the year in 2006 because like everybody was voted time of the year. Yeah. When Elle goes to a football game, she's the one looking at it. So. It's true. It's true. Like, I like guys who honestly like have like baseball player bodies, rugby player bodies. A lot of them have like nice asses and just nice bodies. Football players, especially like like on the offensive line. You know, I like that like slender build. I'd be known especially back in college, like I could like look at a guy and be like, oh, he played football or he played baseball just based on his body. I mean, I went to a D1 school. Actually, Oregon. Florida State.
Hey. Nice.
There you go.
Very nice.
Yeah.
That is so interesting.
What?
Like the body thing, the butt thing. Because the baseball player, like I have noticed, like it is, because I mean I don't like watch all these sports in real time, but if I see like the images, it is interesting. When you look at certain uniforms, they do look different, and like you know with basketball, it's like okay, you have the bagginess and everything. So I mean, like you're gonna notice that people have the big arms, and like the legs too are really like muscly, but like it's a little different than like in baseball where you actually are wearing these clothes and it kind of is tight on you ish, and you kind of notice the body more. I would say in some ways, like it's weird to explain, but like. Yeah. it's
makes sense.
it's definitely different than like a baseball game or like football even. But even in football, sometimes you can't see just how big. I mean, you can see if someone's big, but you can't always see like their exact everything just because of all the everything you're wearing. And then soccer, where you really are wearing like nothing. Then it's just like super slender build, and I played soccer, so boom,
Right. Yeah, like
it shapes up. But I played 3 years, and so like, you know, that's the other thing is like my legs were toned, sure, but I wasn't like ripped in any way. We didn't do weight training for soccer, but we did like, you know, just like the regular workouts. The circle of pain was so bad where you're in a circle and it's like you just like are kind of like almost like jumping jacks, except you're keeping your arms. You're just more like you're jogging in place with your arms out, and it'll burn at, like, because we're doing this for so long. But you just do this, and then you like come down and do 5 or 10 push-ups, and we're begging for the push-ups because the push-ups burn so much less than like sitting here just jogging in place, arms burning, and you can't do anything to stop it. You're
I
just,
could imagine.
like, it was, I don't remember how long they had us doing that. It could have been 10 minutes, and that 10 minutes felt like forever. It could have been longer than 10 minutes, but that wasn't a very common workout. But the circle of pain, I forgot about that I honestly forgot about that one until just now. But that was one of the things where you actually would get a little bit more arm, whatever. Even golf, when I tried playing my first year, they were saying like maybe do dumbbells so that way you can hold the golf club up a certain way. And I was like, wow, I wouldn't have thought of all things you need to be jacked to play golf. We definitely made it to the league. Yo. That's the Rocket League.
Yeah, he's definitely in my league. But I mean, yeah, like I guess, you know, like certain like athletes definitely have to wear like different clothes depending on the sport. But you know how like I guess like there are certain outfits that like, at least for me, like if I wear it, you know, guys just seem to like it, you know, like dresses. I'm like, I don't know how this like accentuates like some dresses, you know, like I don't see how this like accentuates like my, you know, like my body, my figure. But I guess like it's just some like, just because I can't see it doesn't mean like other people can't, and especially like, you know, guys, you know, can see certain things. And I feel like that's kind of like the same thing with like football, where it's like I could see a guy in a football suit, you know, like totally fitted and just kind of know what his body is, even with all the with all the gear on. So I don't know if it's like something like similar like that, or I don't know, because like the whole like sundress thing, where like men just love women in sundresses. I'm like, no, okay.
I haven't even exposed myself yet.
I will. Look, I don't mind. I don't mind.
Listen.
So,
okay.
So,
go ahead.
When I was playing football, a lot of the and running track too, especially a lot of the girls in my high school who never necessarily noticed me before, they did. They're like, "Oh, you got really nice arms." Oh, okay, thank you. And so I would think nothing about it, but I would hear more so from like a lot of the upperclassmen the upperclassmen girls, and they're like, "Yeah, you got really nice arms." And a lot of them would come in and touch and feel on my arms. I'm like, "Thank you." I get wear out, and then whenever I was playing football and I had my football gear stuff on, you know, I would hear like a lot of people say, "Oh, you got a really nice butt." I'm like, "Oh, I guess. Thanks." I don't know. It's something I don't think about. I remember one year running track and super hot, and I was always self-conscious about my stomach because I never really necessarily had like 4-pack, 6-pack, or anything else. It was just there. And so one day, took off my shirt and I was running around the track, and next thing I know, I hear, "Ooh, who is that running around the track like that? Wait, is that Ron?" Yeah. Like, wait a minute. And then it didn't help that my ex ran track too as well. And so but again, we were cool. We were cool. We were real
Okay.
cool.
Okay.
And so we were talking everything else, and so I was like, "Wait, y'all dated at one point in time?" She's like, "Yeah." And they would look, and they would see me running, and they're like, "Well, dang, he actually has a nice body." I'm like, running, trying not to smile because like I feel my ego getting inflated, but I'm like, I don't know what they're seeing, but okay, whatever. I'm just going to run around this track because I got to get ready for my track meet, and this is that and the third. But that's always stuck, you know, because there's a lot of things that women would say, especially toward like me per se, that I would necessarily wouldn't think about. But it's like, okay, obviously I'm doing something right, or whatever the case may be, you know, and just go about my day. And especially, you know, El, you're talking about how like you like how clothing for the man is a key thing. Yes, I agree. I agree. You know, even with the majority of the suits that I have, like a lot of them, they are, a lot of them fit me. They fit my, so to speak. And so there will be times where I will wear like one of my three pieces and I'll get a lot of compliments on like, oh, you look really nice in that suit. Like, it's just a three piece, but thank you anyways. You know, and it'll just go on through the whole time. Like, okay, they see me in the three piece, or even like the two piece, like the one I wore on Sunday. You know, that one as well. You know, they're like, oh yeah, that's a really nice looking suit you got there. I'm like, yeah, sure, thanks. I got like a closet full of them. So like, you know, whatever. But it does make a difference. It does make a difference. And even with a lot of the clothing that I wear, just like every day, because of the fact that I'm a little bit bigger, I'm like a little bigger build, I tend to wear a bit more bigger clothing size. Nothing way too big. So, like I know for me, a lot of my shirts, I usually get them like an extra large. So it's not too big and bulky, but at the same time, it's not super small where I'm feeling like I'm claustrophobic. And even with my jeans, because my bottom, the bottom half of my body is bigger than most, I normally wear like a 36, 34s. And again, it's not too baggy and it's not too loose. It's just right. I think the one pair of dad jeans, as the Mrs. might call them, yeah, I have a pair of dad jeans. I don't know how or why.
Okay.
I didn't know I didn't know it was a thing either until I wore them and somebody else other than her made a compliment. Yes, other than her made a compliment about it. And I'm like, oh, like, thanks. I guess I should wear these more often. And it was just like, it messed with me because, like, I never heard of it. Never heard of it. So it's like, okay, sure, whatever. You know, they're kind of form fitting. Let's put it like that. They're very form fitting, but at the same time, it's still what I would normally wear anyways. So I'm like, okay, you know, gotcha. I guess I do have a butt back there. I don't know because I look back and I don't see anything. But if other people see like, hey, you got a big butt, I'm like, okay, whatever. Thank you. You know, ego got a little inflated, but you know, no big deal. I'm still going about my day, but I'm off my rant.
Yeah, that's interesting. So that's firsthand. Like you also you had your experience where, you know, from being younger, right, high school age or whatever, and people kind of noticed your build, and then being a little bit older and other people outside of your own household are noticing. I've heard about dad jeans, the mom jeans, whatever. And in fact, I just had to look up mom jeans, and the first thing I saw was like kind of, I don't know how tall she is, but she looked like she was a little taller, black girl, but she was also wearing heels. So it was like, crap, the picture is gone now. It's a whole different set of pictures. Probably because it was an ad. Any case, yeah, and it was definitely like the build was there. The jeans sat right. You know what I'm saying? They sat
Yeah.
right. And they worked well with the heels. And I have seen that kind of combo where you have like the jeans and the heels, the really nice, errands and everything. And that's another style that definitely does show off the body a little bit more. It kind of segues into, I guess, my you could call it preference. I mean, it's a thing that you just kind of notice physically. Like, my sister asked me this once. And it was a little bit shocked when she asked me, given the household that I grew up in. She had asked me some years ago, maybe it was definitely either late college or early grad school. So we're going to say between 2015 and 17. She was like, so boobs or butt? And I was like, ooh, that's a question.
Interesting question.
That's a question. I was like, well, butt, of course. Oh,
okay.
I can see it.
Okay.
Even when you find out that someone's like I met women who were either security guards or like a lady cop. I mean, that Lil Wayne line it's not wrong. Actually, there's this one girl who went viral around it was like around 2020, and it was a woman who she might have even gotten promoted in some rank. She was a police officer in black, and of course people were like going crazy, and some people were like, oh, you're contributing to the oppression. Some people were just like flirting, and so I didn't see the person who posted this, but she posted like LMAO, someone really said thick blue line. Y'all got me screaming. And I was like, thick blue line is the best thing I ever could have heard. Even all the chaos and all the sadness of that time, just to see like the mirth and like, yeah, there were some black officers, but it was interesting when you do have like women officers. There was actually an ice bay at one point where this really hot, basically Latina girl, shorter girl, was working for ICE, but people were like, wait, what are you doing working for ICE? You're Latina. But I mean, listen, I have to come up with something, but when I come up with something, I'll say it. No, because I'm not trying to say something like completely off the wall. But the point is, like, yeah, the women in uniform thing, like that's real. I mean, yeah, the big butt is basic, okay, but even then, it's not like always the whole size. Like, it could be relatively smaller, but within the rest of your body, it kind of stands out. You have like, I don't know. I don't even know, to be honest. Like, I haven't always come up. Like, I think one time for like New Year's Eve, like in our family, we were going around the table saying like, what are things we want to see in the significant other? And I was like, yikes, this question. But okay, but let me keep it wholesome because it's a family thing. And so, I mean, of course, everyone had to mention something. Oh, someone who believes in God, blah, blah, blah. One thing I said was like someone who knows or at least enjoys dancing. Because for me, it wasn't a thing growing up, even in an African household, because it wasn't really very secular. And I mean, I wasn't really going to like parties where you would see really dancing unless it's like a memorial service or like the wake, really, the wake keeping, where it's the more festive part. But even then, it's like the family of the deceased and the people are spraying money, which is a very traditional African thing to do to like basically make it rain, but it's for the family. And so usually you'll see the family dancing and going throughout, and people are like throwing the money at them. But I'm not seeing like really like dancing and stuff. Even when I wanted to go to prom, my mom literally was like, "Oh, come dance with me right now," and I was like, "Oh," or it was homecoming, but I was like, "I don't know what I'm doing." What? My mom was like, "Okay, dance," and I was like, "I don't know how to do this. We didn't do this in our house." But so that was 2012, 11 for homecoming. Now fast forward to like, again, I'm in college or probably grad school, so it's probably 2017, 2018, and we're going around, and I'm like, "Oh, someone who can dance, or at least who enjoys it." Like, it's kind of nice to. Now, of course, there is a little bit more of an ulterior motive, but I mean, the more wholesome part is like it's just a fun, and just like we see each other.
I got you, Toby. Say no.
But for like at least the just like it's nice. It's a nice energy thing. It's fun. Going out, like it wasn't even necessarily inappropriate dancing when I was in college. A lot of the time when I would go to events on campus, it was just fun. It was also very diverse. A lot of Indians. We had like 20% Asians and that's like Asian American, not like immigrants. So like there was a lot of Indians, South Asians. So I got to learn about Bhangra, you know, the it's fun. Like if you really have the Bhangra music going on and you're dancing, like you get into it. So it wasn't even just like suggestive dancing. I just really enjoyed it for what it was, and the music and the beat, and just it was just different to see different people in different lights. And it's a way that you can bond. Now, the more unwholesome part, someone did say that like dancing low key is like a gateway drug to sex. Now it doesn't have to be, but it can be. Now that's not even where I was going with it at first. I was more just saying that when you're dancing, certain body parts get shown off more and you notice more. And unfortunately, that ruined my like innocence coming into college. I would say probably leaving high school because I didn't notice butts or really a lot of the curves and these other features until after going to like homecoming and just seeing everyone grinding. And I'm like, what the heck? I didn't know this was a thing. Like I didn't know this was a thing. How did I like go? Like it's funny talking to friends now. Some of my friends who are African or Caribbean, especially Caribbean, where it's like there were certain types of dancing and music that they saw all the time growing up, the winding of the waist, or like the slow dancing, the zouk, or the compa like dance, and people are just dancing really slow with each other. I'm like, I didn't know about any of this. So some people when they're 12 years old, they're like low key being partnered up with other people in their community to dance, and I'm like, that did not happen. So I basically had to see like very awkward white boy grinding in like high school, like senior year. And I'm like, oh my God, is this what I'm subjected to for the rest of my years? Prom was just a cringe. I mean, it was fun, but it was also very cringe. And then I go into to college, and then I noticed there's different types of dancing, and then you could be a little more rhythmic with it. You could still be a little freaky, but be a little more rhythmic. And so for me, that was always kind of a thing that was very attractive, is if like, if you know, I mean, it sounds really bad, but like if you know the girl's a freak, or you know the girl's this, you can kind of imagine like, oh, okay, I see you. That's why, like, you know, whenever you're at a party or something, or even at a restaurant where it's like chicken and waffles type of thing. I saw a meme where it was like, gotta live Atlanta, where you go to brunch and it smells like twerking and waffles. You're minding your business, and all of a sudden you look at the table over there and you just see someone going, and you kind of notice them like, okay, I see you. And it is what it is. It just can't help it.
So, but like when you're out in the wild, like it's like it only like when you're out like at a club or something, or like at a venue where there's dancing, that's when you notice attractive women, or is it like when you're like?
Yeah, that's just fair, because that was kind of how you asked it about being in the wild. I guess for me, like if I'm just randomly at like a grocery store, I'm not gonna necessarily notice like. I mean, again, you might see certain physical features, or you might just find someone who seems a little more, I don't know, quote unquote, approachable. Because, like, for me, I kind of keep to myself. Like, I can make friends easily, and I can talk to people, but I'm not inclined to like pick someone up. So I feel like if like someone is just very friendly and like they have a nice smile in a certain way, I might be inclined to want to talk to them more. Like I'm trying to think about like events that aren't parties, but where I like ran into people, like sometimes it was like academic events, like conferences or like other things, and you kind of end up having a conversation with someone kind of accidentally, or sometimes the girl comes up to you and they like talk to you, and it might not even be super romantic, but they might just be a little like playful. They might be like a bit like, you know, maybe they'll ask you something, but they're willing to keep talking. You exchange info, and you're like, oh, that was kind of nice. Because for me, I'm probably going to stay in my lane. And so I feel like if you're easy to talk to, that's a million times a big thing. And that's not all, but like there's already a very big thing of comfort where like I can be extroverted, but I'm definitely more introverted when it comes to it. And I'd rather not like, and I also don't want to feel like I'm inconveniencing or pressuring someone or talking. It's just like really weird and uncomfortable. Like I never got how people would keep wearing down someone and like keep talking to them, and clearly they're not interested. And like there's actually a video that was recommended to me on YouTube where it was like this guy was talking to the girl, and the girl kept saying like, I have a boyfriend, leave me alone, but she's kind of smiling. And like the thumbnail and like the big intro part, like she's doing all types of stuff, kind of like doing splits and all this. And then it kind of rewinds back to when they first met. And I'm like, how did like he wear her down for like 12 minutes to the point where she's like, she has a boyfriend, but she's like now doing whatever. And for me, that's just like, I can't, like, I have no desire to be honest, because it just feels mad uncomfortable. And I don't really enjoy it. So like, I think if you're willing to talk or willing to be talked to, a little bit more, then that's more comfortable. And I mean, that's a hard thing to pin as a personality trait. I mean, maybe it's just like you're more outgoing, maybe you're more receptive. Though in some ways that might make you more threatened because it's like, oh no, anyone can access you. But at the same time, that's literally probably the only way I'm really going to talk to someone is if there's someone who is open to kind of being talked to in that way.
So when you're like out in the wild, like at a grocery store, if the woman looks approachable, that's what you find attractive, like
Maybe.
physically? Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Is it like something about her face or like what she's wearing or it's like how she's like carrying herself?
it might be the face. It might be even like an eye contact thing. It might be I mean, I hate to say it because unfortunately the resting face is like a thing. And I have like wonderful friends who've admitted that they have the resting
Resting face?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like I'm not gonna like hold that against you per se because you never know. But at the same time, it's like I might be less inclined to talk. Well, I mean, first of all, I'm probably not picking people up randomly at the grocery store anyway.
Well, it's not necessarily about like picking people up. Like these men, yeah, like these men that I talk about. It's not like I go up to them and start talking to them, or like drop a handkerchief in front of them to get them to talk to me or something. But like,
yeah,
it's just just like seeing them. Like, what is it that kind of like holds your eye?
Yeah, and even the way you dress, like it doesn't even have to be like super like, oh my god, you're wearing super sexy booty shorts or like super tight. But I think I notice sometimes it might sound weird because of what it would allude to, but like I kind of became more attracted to like flats, weirdly enough. Not really heels, like heels are fine, but something about flats, like something just seems so like businessy about it and like nice, right? It's not even necessarily like, oh, because their feet there, because sandals obviously would have that, but it's something about like, yeah, that's why I was like, I had to be kind of careful because it's not really a fetish, but I feel like I do also appreciate, I guess it's on the record, so whatever.
Right.
People can watch this if they want to. There's something about nice feet. It's there. It's not like a sexual thing, like, oh my god, I'm turned on, but it's more just like you notice it and it's attractive. And I think with flats, it's kind of like a mystery, like, oh, okay, I don't know, and like a business thing. And so sometimes I notice that depending on the outfit, it could be like dress. A nice dress is always nice. I mean, sundress, I don't know if I'm super pressed on the sundress. I used to joke, kind of half joking, not really, about the bodycon dress, like that really tight, like that was always a really, yeah, Ron knows. That was always a nice dress, where it hugs more tightly. And again, I feel like I was corrupted because of like going to parties and stuff, and I would see videos too on YouTube of these parties. And this is funny because I'm admitting thing. I'm kind of like not fully admitting, but I'm somewhat admitting. So you guys can be privy to it, whatever. So I would see these videos, and it was an accident too at first, right? Mm-hmm. But I would see these kind of videos of parties, and of course you see women moving, they're shaking, whatever, and you would see the nice dress. And so I feel like that was like, oh wow, that's a really attractive tight dress. You could be wearing, I mean, shoes can be anything, honestly. And then like the hair, I mean, hair can be anything too. Like I think I've come to appreciate a lot more like natural curly hair. Never been super fan of like completely bald, but at the same time I've come to appreciate it a lot more because I do appreciate the natural journey. I think locks I've become a little more also attracted to, shorter locks. I know you're like it's funny because I'm like sometimes when you see those shoulder like hair, like the short starter locks where it's like coming to their shoulder, like something really like attractive about that too. Like nothing wrong with the longer ones who've been growing it up for years, but like sometimes when I've noticed the shoulder length locks, it's just like, oh, that's so cute. Like not in a patronizing way, it's like it's actually like it looks really nice. So I mean like hair, and I always like have to say glasses because especially if you're like anyone with glasses, but like if you're black or I feel like a person of color, because it kind of makes me feel a little more at home. Like, oh yes, she has glasses too. She also has vision impaired. That's hot.
She can't see.
But it's more just like, okay, cool. You might have the kind of nerdy look going, but you look cute. There was a one point where I liked braces. And that's harder to see as you get older. But I always said that they made the girls smile look cuter. That's something I actually developed more in college. And I didn't think that really in high school or middle school. But as I got older, I was like, oh, yeah, you have braces in your 20s. It's kind of cute. And then I don't know, like there's just certain things that I might notice, and it's kind of hard to think immediately what are those things. Um, but it's just like a gamut of features, I guess. Sometimes I just mind my business and I don't always like see the people that much. Like when I'm walking, sometimes I do, but sometimes I don't. I'm just doing my thing. But like if I'm in an area that's a little more like you have time to actually look around and you can actually like, without it being weird that you're like looking at them and checking them out, it's like, okay, I kind of see this and I notice it, keep it moving.
Maybe like at like an airport or something.
Yeah, I mean, you might notice someone in an airport, like if you're, of course, sitting for some time, even in an airplane, when you're boarding. I mean, sometimes you're just so busy and doing your thing, but sometimes, yeah, you do notice. Um, I guess technically bigger girls. I mean, I don't know. That one's a little hard because it's not like a fat fetish. Like, oh my God, you have to be really big. But I think probably bigger than skinnier. Like, nothing wrong if you're like really, really skinny, but I might not always be as attracted. Versus like you're a little bit thick. Like it doesn't even have to be like crazy, like super big butt, but just like there's just a little bit more that's there. Like I said to one girl about being plump. She didn't take kindly to that as much. She was like plump. Oh yeah, you like it because I have like whatever. Like she actually wanted to be like super skinny. She was like, no, I wish I looked like these girls who were like dead skinny. And I was like, no, I kind of like the plumpness. And funny enough, this goes back to something that was being said way earlier in the stream. I think something about like technically with any girl, like it doesn't matter. Like if you have sex with someone, you can have sex with them regardless, right? Like the whole that's what you were saying, Elle, about like finding someone attractive but not necessarily wanting to have sex. And you're like, well, technically you could have sex with anyone. And this same girl that I had been talking with at the time, and the same one who I mentioned the plump thing about, she was even saying like it's interesting that like you could see a girl and be like, I probably wouldn't like want to hit her up or sleep with her. And I'm like, at the end of the day, it feels the same inside, right? So it's like, why does it matter? And I'm like, I'm not sure that's fully true though, because I don't know if it really does feel exactly the same. I mean, there's definitely girls who are bigger who are gonna like, it's gonna be a lot bigger inside. You get a little bit lost, like you need a GPS to navigate a bit.
What?
I was like, man, making things up. She's like, I don't know anything about the anatomy. It's fine. Like I feel like there's like the whole like tight thing, right? About oh, you're tighter, you're looser, and I feel like that's like a real thing too, where it's like, and that might not be completely by body type, but I feel like that plays a part where if you're smaller, like there's that kind of fetish of like, oh, you're a tiny Asian girl, you're tiny whatever, and because they're gonna be tight, right? Versus if you're someone who's a lot bigger, it's gonna be bigger everywhere. And so the walls are gonna be, or not the walls, but like the cervix, I guess, like the front to back is gonna be more spacious, right? And so sometimes people might not want to engage in that as much because they would rather have tightness. I don't know. Okay, you look like maybe this isn't like a real thing, or maybe your experience. Say that again.
I've never heard of that because I like when I was like, like putting like my lips out. It's like, I was like, okay, I guess I could see where like they're going with that. It sounds like rubbish to me. Like it sounds like complete rubbish to me because I mean I don't know. Like I feel like like of course like men's penis size gets a lot more talked about than like how women's like I guess like
walls,
vagina. Yeah, like I'm like trying to like I was gonna say like vagina size. I'm like I guess like vagina feel, but like because like the man's penis is on the outside, so you can see it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I've just like never really like. Like people are all just different shapes and sizes, So like if men's penis sizes are different, like women's vagina sizes would have to be different too. It would be funny if like we were just all the same. Like that would have like if all women were just the same. That would be kind of mind blowing because all the bullshit that like like boys would be saying. It's like I was like throwing a hot dog down a hallway. I was like, well, that just means your penis is way too thin because every vagina is the same. Like every like that would have been kind of fun. But I don't think so. I don't like I never been in vaginas, so I don't know. Like
and I'm not like I can't pretend like I've been in a lot of different ones, but like I feel like even from what I've heard, like or the limited experience, it's like it does definitely seem like there's, but it also could be like I don't know, like it's hard to say. Like it's actually difficult to 100%. Oh my god!
Hey, we got ourselves a late night niche.
Yes. Yeah. Might have to distortion stumble across the canyon.
I don't know what this guy.
I mean, I don't know if I would say the canyon. Like, I think there's definitely easier entry. There's definitely been easier entry in some versus others. Oh my god, what did you miss?
I missed everything.
Quite everything.
You missed. I don't even know where to start.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. Like, and it's not like I can 100% remember all in the past. Like, oh my god, what did this person's feel like? And some people it was like one time. That was it. It was like okay, and that's it. So I couldn't even compare the same person to themselves again. The experiment was not experimenting. The variables were. There was no, what's the word? That's the thing when you need to like reproduce. There was no reproducibility in this paper. I
can replicate the like, and I feel like Ron has something to say.
Yeah, go ahead, Ron. You've been holding yourself in.
Because I'm like, I don't know, I never like spoke about vagina sizes with like my women friends.
I mean, I might be a bad person for this. I might be, but it's okay. I'll take it. So, your boy has been a part of some social experiments, and let's just say, for the sake of argument, it's not necessarily about the vaginal walls that needs to be put in question. In all actuality, what Elle pointed out is the actual girth or the width of the man's package. We'll put it like that. If the package is too narrow and too skinny, it ain't gonna do nothing. So to Elle's point with the bologna or the hot dog being thrown in the hallway, yeah, him ain't big enough. Him is not big enough. Do I want to do this? Do I want to do this? I think I might have to do this. Crap.
Listen, don't stop now. We on the roll. No pun intended.
I don't know if I've just like offended a bunch of women for whatever I could have possibly said.
No. But it's not. You didn't offend the women. If anything, you probably offended a lot more men than anything else, because for a man, and it actually coincides to what you were talking about earlier too, Elle, as far as how it seems as most men don't finish properly and whatnot. It does tie into that. So for a man, for his ego to be filled and feel as though he's accomplished something, he would have to find a woman that is compatible his um to his packaging, if you would.
Okay. All right.
And so, of course, you would think with the stigma that if a woman is smaller, you would think that
Mm.
mhm, I've heard stories. I've heard stories.
Oh God.
I've heard
I have
oh,
too.
hilarious. So going back to what I was saying. So um here we go. So there was a point in time where me and the missus, we did have an open marriage. One point in time. And during this time, I was able to experiment. And even then, going back to what I was saying before, with the men trying to find somebody compatible that fits him, it doesn't necessarily mean that they always have to be like super skinny and super small. No, there's plus size women out there who are tighter than Fort Knox, and if you can't get in there, that's just on you. You can't get in there. That's just on you. So during the time period of us having this open marriage and whatnot, I've ran across two other women who were comparatively um felt like my wife at the point in time,
Okay. Okay.
comparatively. And even then, they were like, okay, so how come you not using your package the way how you supposed to? Like, okay, what do you mean? Like, what are you talking about? Because like I'm dumbfounded. Like I've been self-conscious. Like, and even then, I'm very picky. I don't just sleep around with just anybody. Like, mm-mm. No, very picky. Very, 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 very picky to the max. And the one chick's like, well, she's like, well, she's like, I don't want to be funny. And she's like, and please do not take this the wrong way. She said, but you're about the biggest I've ever dealt with. I'm like, you got to be kidding me, right? She's like, no, like, you are the biggest I've ever dealt with. I'm like, okay, like, don't hear that often. Like, not gonna let that soak into my brain. But okay, so what do you mean? Like, help me to understand what you're telling me because to me, it's not computing. It's not computing at all. Not computing. And so she explained to me, and I'm like, oh, okay, like makes sense. And so the second person, again, she was taller than my wife and thicker than my wife.
All right.
Taller, thicker, and again, just as tight, just as tight. And so, and again, same thing was being said to as well. I'm like, okay, what do you mean? Like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, there's clearly, there's other dudes that you've messed with who are better than me or bigger than me, like whatever the case may be, however you want to put it. And she's like, no, like not at all. I'm like, seriously? She's like, yeah, seriously. As a heart attack. I'm like, okay, like that does a little slight boost of the ego, but I'm not going to take it as like face value because I don't know if you're really trying to stroke my ego. Like I don't know, but at the same time, it's like it's comforting comforting to know. So it's like, okay, whatever. And even then, we were talking about a lot more and whatnot. So like, and again, it was just one of those things where it was like, again, even afterwards, it was just casually like, okay, like I get it, whatever, like whatever makes you feel happy and whatever floats your boat and however you feel as though you've been satisfied, then okay, I guess I've done my job and we'll keep it moving. So all in all, is not necessarily the woman, it's more so the man. 9 times out of 10. 9
You
times.
think so?
Oh yeah.
That's interesting.
I wonder if that's like, because I've been like, kind of paying attention to like just like societal shit that we've learned, especially because like, we live in like a patriarchal, heteronormative white supremacist society. So like it just sort of makes me think how a lot of the things about like patriarchy, it seems like it's this kind of like projection. So I'm wondering in response to we learned this right here is a compact sedan lane only. Shut up, Rocky.
Hey there, Rocky. Go to bed.
I know, right? But it's only like 9:30 where he is, so he has plenty of time.
He got time today. Okay, yeah. Rocky, you got
right. No, he like just finished dinner. But like, what was I say? Oh yeah, like I feel like a lot of things were kind of just possibly like projections of just like, or just trying to be on like defensive and things, and just kind of make the woman feel bad about literally everything. So it's like, instead of the guy being too small for her, she's just way too wide. And it's and it goes back to like that whole, oh, she has multiple partners and her vagina must be like so wide, and which is just makes no fucking sense, because like literal children come out of vaginas and like
exactly,
and then it shrinks back to the normal size. So like yeah, so like it's most likely probably just a defense for like, oh, it's like, oh, if it slides in easily, then she's been sleeping around. It's like, or maybe your dick's just really tiny. Yeah. Maybe you just don't have like girth, like. And I guess it's like, so you were saying that like he needs to find a woman who would fit his package. So I guess that also goes for like yeah, I mean, that's definitely what I've been learning, out of the, I was going to try to make a joke. It's like, out of the two guys that I've slept with, remember, I'm only slept with two. Just, that's just my story. I'm sticking to it. So it's a safe number to say but honestly, if a guy cared about like body count, I wouldn't be sleeping with him. But like guys definitely like just do feel different, and it's just kind of weird because like, I'll be honest, like I could never really tell if a guy is big until he's like inside me, all two of them, and and it's like, because like it's like, oh, if you like shows me a picture of it, it's like, oh, it's so big, wow. Like, it's like I can't really tell until you're inside me. So like, I feel like there's definitely been guys who have been like similar sizes, and like, I don't know, sometimes like or like there's been guys who are like a little bit bigger or something, but it just didn't feel as good as like a different guy who was like maybe like a little smaller. And it's just, I don't know if it was just like, and I'm like more so chemistry. Like there might have been like more sexual chemistry. There might have like, you know, maybe I felt more comfortable, I don't know. But like sometimes I'm like, yo, what did you put on your penis to make it feel so good? I was like, what is it? What did you do? I say it's actually neither the men's nor the women's fault. We need to find out who we're compatible with, and we definitely need to communicate more about what we need. Like, absolutely, communication is absolutely key, and like, so like, and very much so with, you know, like sexual communication. Like, it's hard because like sometimes, and like this has happened to me where like I would try to open the floor for communication as to like what we want, because you know it's like yeah, he's like maybe, you know, go down on me for more than 3 seconds. But sometimes like there was a guy who got like defensive, and he was just like, oh, like, well, you know, like you're bad at giving head. And I'm like, okay, then tell me what the fuck you want then, you know. It's like, I didn't quite like say that, but it was like really fucked up, like, you know. And then he just like got like so fucking defensive, and it was just like whatever. But like we ended up like conversing and talking and like saying like, hey, this is like how I like it's okay to talk, like, but you know, and I've been guilty of this, like not saying exactly what I want, but you know, you just gotta learn. So, you know, I learned a lot from, you know, guy number 1, and then you know I expressed it with guy number 2. So, you know,
and it's like a feedback loop. Then you went back to guy number 1 because
absolutely, yeah. And I have to keep things tight, because if I sleep with more than one, then it's gonna just get super loose. I can't.
Oh.
And it just falls off.
Oh.
I saw something that was literally like, you didn't tell me that the cooch was falling off the bone. But I was more talking about the quality of it.
Right, yeah.
I got no shame. I'm about to nut in 2 seconds.
Oh.
That person is about to be a quick nut. You didn't tell me. Yo, honestly, actually, I'm not gonna say anything about Lasting Time. I'm not gonna say anything about Lasting Time because I don't need to out myself in any type of way.
No, it's like just go down on a woman for longer than 3 seconds.
Oh my God!
That's what this is about. It's going down. Yeah.
Like definitely more than like 2 minutes. Like, give her that, Jesus. Also know where the clit is. That's also
helpful, right?
Yeah, very helpful.
But also one more thing too.
What's up?
A vagina is a muscle.
Yeah.
That's a vagina is a muscle. So the more it gets worked, the stronger it's going to get. So
hey. That's why I put those 2 guys to work.
So,
Just kidding.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh. No. Going back to last week's episode, if you guys haven't saw last week's episode, I'm gonna need you to go watch last week's episode. So as far as, and again, talking about sex ed, the woman teacher, again, she made a mention that there was no such thing as a woman's vagina being loose. She said there is no such thing. She said because a woman's vagina is a muscle. And she said that because of the fact that it's a muscle, the more it gets worked, the stronger it gets. She said, now, mind you, like, yes, do you need a break in between times? Certainly, yes. It needs to heal. It needs to heal. But as it's healing, it's repairing itself. So if a guy says that, oh, you're too loose, no, it's not the fact that you're too loose. It's the fact that he's too small.
This is the craziest sex ed class I've ever heard, and I'm here for it. I love it.
When I tell you she kept it real, she kept it real. So she said at any point in time, she's like a woman, she's like at any point in time, if a guy says that, oh, he can't feel your walls or you're too loose because it's at a third, it's really because he's just too small. That's point blank period. He's just too small. He can't handle you. So don't feel bad for you. No, feel bad for him. And even then, you know, she told the guy, she says, there's a no, what? No, what? It's literally there is it's a little exercise. It's a literal, especially works for women who are pregnant. It's called Kegels.
Oh, true.
Yeah, I always hear about that.
And like pelvic exercises too.
In most women who practice Kegels, they're going to feel a lot more tighter than anything else. And even then, you know, it's because of the fact that she's doing Kegel. For most guys, it's going to be beneficial for them and as well for the woman as well. But even still, it's just again, like I was saying before, it's a muscle. And so with it being a muscle, it's going to repair itself and get stronger each time. And again, to Elle's point, why do you think women are able to birth out a miniature human being and it goes back to normal like it never came out?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like you might not be in your prime. Back to the drawing board. If you can fully breathe the entire time, wait. Are you talking about like
I guess it's sex.
Interesting.
I don't know.
The Never Skip Vagina Day. I love it. That needs to be like. So the parody news site Reductress, I guess like more for like towards women.
Mm-hmm.
They have a shirt or like a sports bra rather that says "Never Skip Boob Day."
Yeah.
I want it. It's so funny because like want to just wear that to the gym. Never skip boob day.
There you go.
Never skip vagina day.
Those, what do they call it? The gorilla grip. When it's just like you're inside and then they just like hold you. Like that's something else from what I've heard on online forums.
I due to Rocky's question, I can answer that one.
So I've heard about this whole thing, and that's another thing I've tried learning about, but it was always a little uncomfortable when I would like try to figure out like, because I guess that's the idea is that you kind of keep yourself from orgasming too fast, right? Like there's a way to separate the orgasm and the ejaculate stage where you kind of do these like tightness exercises and you kind of hold it in, quote unquote, so that when you're in an orgasm, you don't. I don't know. I always kind of felt like, I mean, it's an interesting thing, but like the tantric exercise and tantric sex, but it was, I don't know. I always feel like a little uncomfortable about it for some reason, and it was kind of hard to explain. But it is an interesting idea if you can actually make yourself do it. Kind of the same way people talk about lucid dreaming and stuff. It's like you kind of defy what your body should be able to do. But so you were going to go ahead, Ron. I just had a little small interjection.
To Taraki's question, you'll be surprised. There are more women who are actually doing Kegels than none. And again, a lot of times it'll be women who have already had kids who will do Kegels a lot more versus a woman who has no kids. Because again, that's something that's been taught to them in the Lamaze classes, especially like when they're having to go to the bathroom, that's what helps them from not peeing all over the place. By them practicing Kegels, it helps strengthen up that muscle. And so even after Kegels,
Ah,
oh no, hold on, to Rocky's point, oh no, that's when you know you win there. That's when you know you win there. When them legs locked up like back there,
oh yeah,
you in there.
yeah. I better have taken some scuba classes
Oh,
too.
that's funny. That's funny. That is true. Like, yeah, no, it could be kind of like it could be kind of scary if he's like really good and you're like sitting on his face because I'm like, I don't want to like break his neck.
Oh, he'd be all right. If his neck ain't strong enough, he dead anyways. It don't matter.
But like, like, but I don't know. It seems like every guy would be like, oh, they would be fine dying that way.
It's,
Hey, if it's their time to go, it's their time to go. Oh well, at least they went happy. They went happy. Anyways.
an honorable way to go. Yep.
Yep. And again, like I was saying before, most women who have kids, they're practicing Kegels. And even then, you didn't even know it, but they'll do it as they're walking, grocery shopping, doing normal stuff. It's just one of those things that they do to help their muscles, their vagina muscles. And so they do it all the time. I mean, case in point, my wife, she does it all the time. Does it all the time. All the time. And even after having our 3 kids, she continues to do it even still to this day. So if she's doing it, then there's a more likely chance other women out there who've already had kids, they're doing it just as well. And even if the women who don't have kids who are learning about Kegels, bet you they're doing it just as well too. So it's like another thing that's out there that can destroy a man's ego. Boom, there you go.
Yeah, I'm all for destroying men's egos.
Me too.
But yeah, like I don't know, because I feel like, especially like those muscles, like sometimes, like it could just like tighten up because of like you might be like afraid. It might just be like just anxiety inducing of some sort. I don't know, but I don't know. I guess, yeah, like I mean, I don't think there's like a single woman out there who like doesn't know about Kegels, because like once again, like society has kind of shamed us to like be fear of being loose. Like even like the term like loose, like what do you think that is? It's like, oh, she's loose because it's not like she's on the loose. It's not like she's like at large, but like she's her they would be like, oh, her vagina's, oh, she's loose. Sounds like a cool way to go if you just don't want to survive and have to explain to the ER what happened.
I'm dead.
You're right. You're right. Yeah, I'm not gonna self-incriminate myself, but you're right. You're right. You are absolutely right. I will give you that one to save my argument. You are correct.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, like the whole girl sit on your face thing. Like I always remember hearing about like, oh, sit on my face, and I would see the memes like in 2017, 2018, and I was just like, because at the time I didn't fully understand. Like, okay, do you want her booty to be that close? But then I'm like, oh, it's actually to eat her out while she's. But I just was like, I never.
Oh, I see. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, because part of that I was just, oh, I just wanted the butt. You just literally want the butt. Like people will like say kind of wild things like, let me drink your bath water type stuff. So I just figured it's like, okay. But then I'm like, I realized, oh, it's actually sex or like oral, and I was like, interesting. Like, I don't know, it's interesting, and I mean, I guess I should do it at least once, but I'm not like super like, oh my god, please sit on my face. Because I mean, if anything, there's not a control. Like they have to get up, right? So I mean, like you're basically they're sitting on your face as long as they want to sit on your face. You don't really go down and come back up. They're gonna be coming off. So it's like, okay, that's an interesting thing too. I mean, you can kind of move your head out, but I don't know.
I mean, I feel like you'd be strong enough to get her off of you if like something were to happen.
But I also wouldn't want it to be a thing where I'm like, oh my, like flip over. She just like flips over like a freaking pancake. I don't know. That's a lot.
Flip her over like a pancake.
Actually, no. That's the term I would use in terms of switching positions. You got to make sure you're doing, it's like cooking your meat on different sides. You have to make sure it's well done all over. When it's like, brother, bend it in half like a what? Jesus Christ!
Oh my goodness!
Oh my god! This is
that's how you get blue balls. Oh man!
Oh yeah, that's the whole thing. Like,
oh.
I don't know if I really got that a lot, to be honest, but yeah, that's a thing.
Ouch. Just bend it in half like a...
Not
so painful.
Okay, good to know.
No, yes. Yeah, no, please. No, that's why we're laughing.
Yeah.
It's like you definitely don't.
Yeah, disclaimer. TMC is not medical advice.
This is not the medical channel. This is not the medical channel.
We're not sex therapists. We're not sex educators formally.
We just share experiences. That's all. We tell you what not to do from our failed experiences. So yes, that If you want to be healthy for like a week straight, yeah. But
yeah, that's a big ouch, and I'm not looking forward to trying anything in that realm. There's a lot of things I'm not looking forward to. Like, there's some things I'll try. I would say, like, and even the whole eating it out thing is like, I mean, I shouldn't out myself here. Like, it's a thing, I've done it. But it's usually never my points. I get the points. But it wasn't like my go-to. There was one time in particular, it was more recent, I would say, like probably a year ago. Like maybe last summer, it was once. And that time, it was actually probably the most pleasant experience I had. Because it's just like, body, it's just, you're just so up and close. And like everything has to be well kept. The booty has to be washed as well. And everything has to just be washed. And I understand that too with the guys, of course, right? And the hair is usually not as much of a problem. Like, I'm not like, oh my God, there's hair. Like, that's usually not as much of an issue. But it's like, I don't know. Sometimes it can just be very strong. And I'm not like the biggest fan of just having that all there. And like people talk about the juices. Like I remember there was this one video about like, you got to be eating it right. And like, if you're thirsty while doing it, you're not eating it right. The juices should replenish. You didn't know.
Fucking thing. Like, dude, don't listen to the memes.
Yeah, that was like 20 YouTube videos. Like, I forgot. I have to find it, but like, you're not eating it right. Like, that's really the video. He kept saying like, if this is the thing, you're not eating it right. If this, you're not eating it right. And that was like, back then, I was definitely like not doing anything. But so I was like, what the heck are we watching right now? I was like,
yeah.
Like, what? I didn't even kiss the girl. What are you guys talking about? Like, So, but now it's kind of like, okay, like it's not my go-to. And a lot of the people who I do talk to or whatever, I didn't say a lot because kind of like it's two people, right? So basically, but it's really, I'm not like meeting new people like that in terms of hooking up. So if anything does happen, it's like, I don't know, the people just happen to not really be needing it. Kind of like what I was saying before, where I wouldn't want to ask for head if I'm not going to reciprocate. The only professional advice given here is I'm totally about to steal you a girl. Yo, I get all my sex advice as you should.
No, you should not. No, you should not.
I'm with L on this one.
It's like, you get all this sex advice from memes. Yeah.
Freaking.
It'll put you in a dark space. And a very confused space too. It's like, why aren't I hydrated? It's like, 'cause you're not supposed to.
We're not hydrated.
She's not a water fountain.
I'm done.
That's why you have a jug of water somewhere, like preferably close by if you're thirsty. Sheesh.
Mhm.
I digress.
But yeah, no, it's definitely coming. We gotta wrap this up.
For real.
Like,
Wrap
so,
it up.
yeah,
Wrap legs around heads. Whatever needs to happen.
I was thinking of condoms, but true.
Condoms. Yes, actually, that makes. Yeah, there we go.
Yes.
Mhm.
Thank you all for staying up late. Mainly Mish, Rocky. It's like getting to 10 o'clock where he is. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, no, he's but yeah, thank you guys for hanging out with us as always.
Yes.
You know, definitely, share in the Discord any cool like podcasts maybe, especially with like dating, relationships, or like sexual advice podcasts. Like I know I shared like one or two, I think. Like Lovers and Friends by Shan Boodram. If I didn't, I apologize because I meant to. But if I did, then you're welcome.
Lovers. Yeah.
Okay.
I think. Yeah, I don't remember if it was in the. I definitely know you sent something, or you either sent me something, or you. Yeah, I think you sent me something. But I'm trying to remember if there's something you posted in the chat as well.
I feel like I posted it in the Discord. I feel like I did. Yeah. I posted an episode on 10.5.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and there was another episode I wanted to post. I've been listening to that because I've known about Shan Boodram for like quite a few years now, and I'm glad that she has like this podcast. But yeah, if you have any like things you want to share, any tips, any advice, podcast, books, people to follow about like, doesn't necessarily just have to be about sex. It could just be about dating, relationships, etc. and so forth. Definitely share it in Discord. But yeah, like with that said, we're gonna have to wrap up. Y'all better be careful with this being the #1 after hours podcast in the world. If you're not careful, you'll have thousands of sex everything. Just tell me to do this.
Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
Don't.
Please don't.
Right.
For the love of your health and well-being all over, please don't.
Mhm.
Seek actual professionals who went to school for whatever you're dealing with.
Right.
For comedic relief.
No, absolutely.
You're here for comedic relief.
So with that said, y'all definitely have a great night.
Mm-hmm.
Catch us in the Discord, and come back next Tuesday. We'll have a different topic within the cuffing season topic, and we look forward to seeing and hearing from you all.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Love you all. Thank you so much for joining us and making this. You make this the best podcast after hours.
Yes.
Show in the world.
Yes, you do. Oh, are you gonna say, Ron? I saw you know, it's like you're pointing down. Was that Misha's? Okay. Oh, good night. Yeah.
That was a sound bite.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night, everybody. And Toby, get comfortable giving head.